Who's this?
It's all of us.
Good day, mate.
Hey, what's up?
We're back.
We're here. Woo. In the shop.
Over the Bars episode, I don't know what.
I couldn't tell you.
Do you have any idea what episode we're on?
I think it's like 762nd.
762nd?
Yep.
Minimum.
41. Episode 41.
481?
Yeah.
I thought it was 681.
It really-
681.
Either or.
666?
I really think that this is actually the 41st episode.
Really?
Well, kind of. I don't know. We lost track somewhere, and like on Zencast, our hosting service, because there's like the race companions didn't necessarily fall in, and then there was that 5.5 episode about me talking about racing
Yourself?
Yeah, myself. Those got lost somewhere in there, and then somewhere it corrected to where like the actual number was correct with the number of actual episodes. So I think that this is 41.
41 sounds good.
41, we'll take it. Episode 41, Over the Bars.
Mike, do you realize the last time you did a podcast was in April?
Oh, boy.
And it was really cold outside?
Now it's really hot in here
Yeah.
and outside.
Yeah.
I was here for that one, right?
It was the three of us, the three amigos.
It's the one from the picture I
Oh,
posted.
we're over the other. We're on the side. No,
we were here.
Yeah. No, we only did the one
I was
over
there,
there.
you were here, and Jeff was there.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember now?
Okay.
Since Scott has his chicken wing, I have to sit to his left.
Yeah.
Oh. Scott, why do you have a chicken wing?
I fell off my motorcycle. We talked about this in the last podcast,
Yeah,
I
we
think, but
did.
I finally got fixed. I
So
was
what's-
pre-surgery.
Okay, you told me that the surgery was a lot worse than they initially, or the problems were worse than what they initially thought.
Okay, so I crashed at Muddy Creek, got hurt, destroyed my shoulder. It popped out. Couldn't lift my arm up. Couldn't do anything really with my arm whatsoever. So went to the doctor, got it checked out, went and got an MRI. So I have a plate in my collarbone. So the MRI is more difficult to read. It makes the MRI of like a shoulder of my right shoulder like not as clear as it should be. And so the MRI showed 2 torn rotator cuff and something weird with my labrum, but no broken bones or anything like that,
When
which
you
was
say
good.
2 torn, is that like a level 2 tear? Isn't it like degrees or levels?
Possibly. I don't really know what the terminology of what mine was, but so your rotator cuff has 4 muscles or 4 tendons in it, whatever you want to call them. I think they're actually considered muscles.
Okay.
So your rotator cuff is 4 separate muscles that hold your arm in place, basically. Well, I tore 2 of them, according to the MRI in the beginning, and then my labrum, which is another ligament that runs across basically the back, I think it's the back of your shoulder, holds everything else in place. It looked funky. And so along with that, go in, get it checked out. The guy says, well, we'll go in and have some surgery, bolt it all back together, figure out what it is. And my surgery ended up being a bigger deal than originally estimated by the MRI. And mainly what was going on is that you're probably already bored, right?
No, I'm still I'm processing.
Okay, so
Processing.
he gets in there.
Here's what you need to do with Mike, is you say something...
Let it settle for a second.
Right, and pause, and then it digests, and then, give
And
him the
then
next
layer
bite.
again.
And
Layer
then
I'm
give him
just
another bite.
processing Muddy Creek.
Okay, so this is the second practice session at Muddy Creek. I endo off the step down before the mechanics area, hit a hole, and
Do you even listen to your own podcast?
Sometimes.
Because this is old news.
this is old news.
Okay.
So anyways,
Okay.
this is however many rounds ago it was, and I crashed and got hurt. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
So I go in to have surgery for torn ligaments in my shoulder. We'll put it that way.
Okay.
Are we good?
Yep.
All right, you're following along now? Okay,
yeah.
so go through surgery. I come out, and he gives... You're going to make me have to pee. So So, anyways, now that we're filled up on that, what do we got? That's Rockstar Lemonade. Is that what it is?
Has 3% juice.
3% juice.
What's the other 97%?
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So, doctor comes out. He kind of tells us that it was a lot worse than what it originally was. So, instead of 2 torn muscles in my rotator cuff, I've got 3 torn muscles in my rotator cuff. And
Out of 4.
Out of 4. And so they tore off the bone and then pulled over my humerus, which is the upper bone in your arm.
Okay.
And pulled over behind that, whatever that means. I don't really know what that means, but that's what he told us. And so along with that, my labrum was also torn, and he had to pull those tendons back into place. Actually, first he had to get rid of a bunch of scar tissue. So it was full of scar tissue.
Old scar tissue?
Old scar. So this is my 3rd surgery on this shoulder. And I think...
That shoulder hates you.
Yeah, right, exactly. Can't I fall on the other one sometime?
I still stand behind my original statement of it's better to have 1 real bad shoulder than 2 bad shoulders.
Yeah, fair. I'll go with that.
Yeah.
So, is it just one cause you pain as we're getting older? Is that what it is? Instead of just both hurting all the time?
Certain things, like there's stuff that I cannot do with my left arm because I tore my shoulder. And I mean, it's like I would rather screw my left one up again than have to deal with this again on the right side.
Right. So, no, this is 3rd surgery on this. And so because of that, I believe we've just got a bunch of old scar tissue built up in there. And he said, so instead of my surgery being an hour to fix what originally we thought had to get fixed, ended up being over 3 hours. By the time of under the knife time getting fixed, and a lot of it just wasn't visible because of the MRI wasn't really clear, and they've had to cut me open to figure it out.
So how long do you have this contraption?
So I'm in this sling with the pillow on it. And for you guys that are listening in, you know what that looks like. I'm in this. So basically, he took the tendons, put them back in place, and put an anchor in, anchored all of them in. And these anchors, I was asking about, I was like, is it metal? What is it? He said, no, it's a certain composite that turns to bone over time, over couple years or whatever long. I don't know what it is.
I think what you're talking about is there is essentially like a biodegradable metal where your body breaks down where the metal is at over time. It's kind of like they have the eroding stitches where your body just kind of erodes it and fills in the gap with new bone. Was the same thing with Scott, where they take, instead of going in and cutting or cutting them open and taking the hardware out like they did with my ankle, instead they put this composite organic type metal, whatever it is, and it erodes, and as it erodes, your body replaces that with new bone.
Yeah. I am so queasy right now, it's unbelievable.
So I've actually got pictures of it. I should have brought it with me.
No, you shouldn't have. Yeah. Glad you didn't.
So the surgery ended up being a much bigger deal. They got everything put back in place like it is. I've got to wear this. I go back in 2 weeks, which we're a week. I'm 7 days into this now. I'll go back in and we will do. We'll get my stitches out, whatever stitches are left to get taken out, and then we will. I'll be in the sling for a total of 6 weeks as of right now.
With the pillow?
With the pillow. I'll be in this contraption I'm wearing now for at least 6 weeks, and then after that, it's 4 to 6 months of PT. I was learning how to use my arm again for the 3rd time.
Take what the doctor says, divide it in half, and add 2 weeks. That is the motocross's formula to return time.
Yeah, I talked to Tanner Myers yesterday. Actually, we were texting back and forth, and he said his wasn't quite this bad, but it took him 4 months. So I'm kind of leaning towards that. My goal is to be pretty much back to normal by January.
Does this affect your daily job?
Yeah, I haven't been working a week. I mean, yes and no. Technically, I can still work from a desk, and I've done some work from home, but basically,
are you right-handed or left-handed?
I'm right-handed.
Oh,
yeah. So that's what makes it so hard. It's hard putting on pants. Whatever. Putting the shirt on was the chore because it's got sleeves. I got to have help. Callie has to help me with everything.
You know what's funny is I just realized, and I've known this, you are an arm waver and a hand signaler when you talk. Yeah. And I'm watching your left hand go nuts, but then your right hand is just kind of making little strokes just outside of your sling.
Outside of the,
And I'm just thinking, man, that's got to be irritating for you.
It's there's two ways to go about it. It gets frustrating because, for one, I've been sitting in a recliner. I've been sleeping in a recliner. Last night was the first night we tried sleeping in a bed where I had pillows stacked around me to make it where it worked. But I've been sleeping in a recliner. I've watched more movies than I can count. And
Do you have HBO?
Oh yeah.
So have you already watched Game of Thrones?
No, I haven't. I've actually never ever watched Game of Thrones. I've been watching Ballers.
Start.
Game of Thrones.
You're
You're a Game of Throner?
Yeah, you're gonna text me and be like, "Bro, thank you."
What did I wait so long to watch for?
Yeah.
So
I did not picture that out of you.
well, he looks like he should be in the Game of Thrones, doesn't he?
I do look a little Viking-like.
Yeah, actually, you do. Actually, you look very
You
Viking.
need like 300 more pounds of muscle on you, but then you. So it gets frustrating, but like I have to look at it this way. Like I'm fortunate enough that like I got hurt kind of chasing the dream, if you want to call it that, doing what I wanted to do.
Better to do it than practicing the week before,
Right,
the
or
first
whatever,
one.
or something. It's somewhere where I remember being. It was a long drive home from there, which sucked. But the other part is I've seen one of the best doctors, at least in the area, to get fixed, and I got fixed, and I got fixed right. So
Hey, I just thought of
that's
this.
kind of a bright point of a lot of it.
The other day, if you would have not hurt your arm, do you think that you and Colin would have stayed around for amateur day on Sunday at Muddy Creek?
Why not? Yeah, I don't know. I would have been sick.
Yeah.
Well, Colin had to go home with me. I had all of his stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. We didn't plan for it.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Why would you plan on that? That's like planning to fail.
Right.
Well, I mean, I didn't. It's funny because going into Muddy Creek, I had asked Nick. I was like, "Hey, can we race on amateur day?" And he's like, "No, it's strictly for Bode." But actually, it's not. If you make it into the Fast 40, then you can't race amateur day that weekend. But it has nothing to do with if you don't make it in.
So if you don't make the top 40, then you can race amateur day?
Correct.
Now, what about if you don't make the top 40, but you're one of the alternates?
Then you're out.
Okay.
Yeah. If you're
One
in
of
the
the
show
motos.
at any point, you're out. And that's for Sunday amateur days. You can't race. Like Millville has a Friday amateur day. You can't race that no matter what.
Oh.
Because there's a 72-hour period or something other than press day. You can't be on the track, or 48 hours or something like that.
I tell you what is, I mean, what I should have done is I should have not raced the Pro National at Muddy Creek and raced the 2-stroke Invitational, because I beat that kid that won it on amateur day.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah. That would have been a lot cooler.
it would have been a lot cooler.
But you were.
I would have made $10,000.
No shit.
It paid $10,000 to win.
Wasn't
We
he
could have had new
B-Rider?
mics if you would have won that.
I'd have a new Alta.
A new Alta?
Let's not go there yet. Continue, Scott.
So I don't even know where we're at, but about me healing up. I mean, luckily I'm fortunate to like where I've got health insurance. But it's still gonna cost me a bunch of money because
Do you
it
have
is what
like
it is.
padding in your shoulder right now, or is it just that funny looking?
No, it's a bandage deal.
Oh, okay.
I got to cover over all the stitches. So I've got like 6 incisions around the top of my shoulder.
Oh.
And it's because it's all arthroscopic. So they didn't actually have to cut me open, but they had to cut me in 6 little spots. So, and I'll tell you what, man, it was brutal the first couple of days. So they gave me a nerve block. And after that thing wore off, oh man, it fucked me up. It
Very
was bad.
painful.
Oh, it was, and I tried to stay away from the pain meds, and there was no staying away from it.
Yeah.
I took them I took them for the first 3 days, like on the minute, at the minute. I knew when it was time for more. Like I could feel the pain coming on, and I wasn't doing anything. I was sitting in a recliner. It was bad, dude. It was bad.
Just, was it pulsing?
Just sore, man. Just throbbing. It was kind of like if I grabbed you on your shoulder as hard as I could
And just squeezed,
and just held it,
continued, yeah.
and squeezed until my fingers touched or something.
Yeah.
That's hard to explain. Or like when you're tightening a screw on a screwdriver and you get to where it stops, and then like somebody just holding it there
Okay.
is what it felt like. Does
Just
that make
like that.
sense? Yeah. That's a good visual, right?
Mike loves our ridiculous analogies.
You guys have thought this out way too much.
Well, you have a lot of time to sit and think about it while you're not doing anything else.
When I hurt my shoulder, it would pulse You know, like I could feel it just going like whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what happens, like, as the pain meds would wear off, it would just start throbbing in pain.
I still have pain medication from whenever I hurt my shoulder that I haven't taken.
I was taking it on the minute, by the minute for a while, and then I kind of quit taking it, and I kind of took it to sleep, and then I've slowly weaned myself off of it over just the first couple of days because, man, it was doing great of like kind of putting me in la la land. Ask Caleb Eddy. He stopped by the other night, and I had just taken, 2 oxycodone or whatever it was whatever it is that I'm on. I took a whole handful of pills, and man, I could barely keep my eyes open to hold a conversation with him. I was on the next level.
Let me ask you this. How are your BMs?
My BMs. Oh yeah, no, that's what ultimately got me to quit taking them because they made me feel terrible.
Yeah,
I was all kinds of stopped up, and I felt so sick. So I was like, that's enough. That's it. I will deal with the pain. So I went all day Sunday or Monday without any pain or without any pain medication, and just kind of toughed it out. Just did as little movement as possible, but it was not fun.
That's the same thing it's like putting a cork in it. For me.
See, I'm the opposite.
Oh, pain medication makes you shit your brains out?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Any type of, like, antibiotic or anything, like, as soon as I take it, I know that, like, my week is done.
Yeah, but...
Like, just an open fire extinguisher.
Which reminds me to ask you, how's your ulcers?
Good, I guess. Nope. I'm not in the hospital.
True.
I haven't shit here yet.
And check mark.
Success.
Yeah,
no, they're doing better, I think.
Not being in the hospital is a good...
Yeah, but I don't really know how they check for that. Like, I don't... Unless you're going in with, like, a scope.
Right.
Is there a way that you know?
That's the only way.
So then...
Can you do an ultrasound or anything? Or have you... you would know. You're the one that's...
I haven't done that in haven't had one in a long time.
Yeah.
But I haven't had any issues.
To my knowledge, the only way to check for ulcers is if they go in with a scope, and they have to go in through the front for ulcers, so they have to put you out.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't had that issue.
I have. Yeah, they've gone both ways.
They went up the backside for ulcers?
Oh, they went both, top and bottom.
See, because I thought whenever they go in through the back, it's for checking. It's like checking for polyps in the
Couldn't tell you. Maybe they were just having a good time.
Final track.
Maybe I was just like a training. Hey, this guy's out. Let's go ahead. Let's just go.
I had to fill out paperwork that said, I approve this video for training purposes or whatever. Yeah. So maybe you were. Maybe you're just a guinea pig because I had
maybe my video's on like Google.
Let me ask you this. Did they use the same unit?
Yes, they went from the back first and then to the front.
Yeah.
I had a terrible taste in my mouth for like a week straight afterwards.
What's that copper flavor?
Like the kind of women Jeff used to run with.
I can tell you this much: anybody that has never ate ass doesn't know what I'm talking about. The Over the Bars podcast is not a family show.
People listen to this like driving home from the races with their 10-year-old, 9-year-old.
There have been people that have told me they had to do earmuffs.
Yeah. And I try not to be that kind of a guy, but when I get around company like you, this is where we end up.
It's not like there's no warning, because whenever you're on iTunes, I check the explicit mark on all the episodes. So
I wondered if you do that or if they do that.
No, I do that. So like whenever I'm uploading, on Zencast, it tells you, it gives you 2 buttons, clean or explicit, and I always check explicit. And it's not because I'm afraid that like it's not that someone's going to report us to like iTunes or something like that. It's just for that exact reason, because there are people that do listen to this show with their kid, and it's like, I don't want them to think that this is going to be like a good, wholesome Jared Tebow episode, and then they listen to it, and it's just dick and fart jokes the entire time.
Which come in at any point, any time, just like it has.
Yeah.
Because what'll happen is, so we're going to upload this thing in a couple hours, and people are going to be leaving bar to bar or leaving wherever it was that they raced today and hit play. And so the whole family is going to be in the truck or the motorhome or whatever.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
And they're going to be driving home with this thing on blast with everybody listening.
How do you do, like, the innovative stuff with your shoulder? Have you done anything?
I haven't done any. I did one school at Tallgrass MX out in Kansas, but I didn't have a cert. It was before I had surgery.
But you don't really ride either. Whenever you do it.
No. When I do my training, most of the time I don't ride. But right now it's just kind of on hold until I can get a little more mobile.
Yeah.
This is the most I've left. This is the furthest I've gone in the last 7 days. Is coming out here to the shop.
Are you excited to be out?
Yeah, it's nice. I'm not excited with how much I'm sweating, but because I've literally been sitting on a recliner in my house.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to be out and moving. There for a couple of days, it was just like I would get up and walk around my house, walk into the bedroom, and then walk into the guest room, and then walk around the kitchen island a couple times and go up and down the stairs, and that was about it. Like, that was just to get the blood flowing in my body.
Yeah.
Surgery's hard on me, man. I mean, you guys know. You guys have been through it. It messes me up bad. Like, for a couple of days, it feels like I got ran over by a truck.
The way you said that reminded me of the video of the guy out in his front yard. It's like, I'm a truck driver. Storms get me pumped up, man.
I have no idea how that relates at all, but I agree.
The way that he said, surgery gets me messed up. Yeah. Thunderstorms get me pumped up, man. This one's going green. There's tigers in the air. You've really never seen this?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Me either.
Can you fit the clip in somewhere?
I can put. You know what? I'll just pull the YouTube of it. Yeah, and it's called "Going Green with Tigers," but I'm just gonna play it. And since we don't advertise on YouTube, we can play it.
What does that mean?
Yeah, what's that mean?
So like.
Did you read like a rule book for podcasts when you decided to put this together?
No, it's that if we posted these to YouTube and then had advertisements like before them, but then played someone else's YouTube video, it would kick our episode off and make it flagged to where we wouldn't be able to earn money. Monetizing on YouTube is one of the hardest things to do. It's lucrative because there are a lot of people that can do it, but I thought that this had millions of plays, but it's only 688,000. Anyway,
only.
Oh, you guys don't have your headphones on.
Well, I've got them. I actually brought some this time, even too. If you can believe that or not. Can you just play it into the show and we'll listen to it later?
There's a fucking Claire McCaskill ad right now. It's not even. Hold on. Let me try to figure this out.
Are we not recording?
No. Yeah, hold on. Say some noises.
Yo, hey, yo.
I just want to make sure that it's... All right.
Listen right here. It's probably going to be a doozy.
You think?
Yeah. Definitely, for sure.
Are you excited?
Yeah. Storms get me pumped up, man. I'm telling you what, man. I've seen some storms in my day, but this one right here, I sense it, man. I just got that. See, I broke my foot a long time ago on a dirt bike. Every time it storms and it's getting pressured up, I can feel it. I can feel it in my foot, that left foot right there.
Oh, yeah?
You don't believe me? You don't believe me, do you? Here,
I believe it.
I'm going to show you right now.
That's all right. You don't have to.
show you right
it's okay.
now.
It's all
I
right.
want you to look here.
I believe you.
I want you to look right here. Look. You see that scar? Yeah.
Your feet stink.
Yeah. Well, I'm a truck driver.
Ooh, don't fling it.
You hear that?
Mm-hmm.
That's thunder.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming, I'm telling you.
You better get your boot on before you get lightning struck.
I've been lightning struck before.
Oh,
Didn't hurt me a bit.
no. Did you bend over and touch your toes?
Huh?
Did you bend over and touch your toes?
No.
Is that what's wrong with you?
I'm telling you, this right here is going to be a doozy. I'm telling you right now. You know what? I bet that storm coming has got tigers in it.
Mine.
Hey, you mark my word, you write it down, you take it to the bank.
Okay.
I bet you there's tigers in it. You see all that right there? Going green, baby. It's going green. Like that movie on Twister.
Uh-huh.
When it goes green like that. What's that fella along here name? That talking that one guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he's squatted down there and he's playing in the dirt.
Mm-hmm.
Had that dirt in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
Walks out and says, going green. That's a bad sign. I know what I'm talking about because I watched the movie.
Okay.
I love it, man. Oh, it's my favorite time of the year. You hear that?
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Whoop. Yeah.
Are you excited?
It's coming. I'm telling you, it's going to be here. Hang on a minute. Yeah. I do believe I'm right. Do believe I'm right. Brace yourself, people. This may have tigers in it.
Wow.
There you have it.
Wow.
I'm almost certain that's my neighbor.
Really?
Yeah.
I think we all have a neighbor like that,
Yeah.
don't we?
Hold on, stay by 1 second. All right.
Tigers in it.
Yeah. So if you want to watch that, it's called Going Green with Tigers in Oklahoma. Is the name of the video there for you folks at home.
Where do we even go from
Wow,
that? How do
yeah.
we transition out of that?
Wow.
We don't have to.
Yeah.
Okay. We're just done.
And cut.
Yeah.
Mike, let's.
I have a couple hot topics.
Would you like me to punch in the hot topics?
If you could.
Okay.
If you could.
Oh,
that'd be
wow.
great.
We're going. Go for it.
Yeah.
Only on Over the Bars podcast will you find hot topics ranging from motocross to remote control cars. This is Hot Topics. Hot Topics are presented to you by our Patreon subscribers. Go to patreon.com/overthebars to pledge today.
Don't.
Donnell's Motorcycles, 816-478-9393. Bar to Bar MX, ride on. Straight from the deep mind of Mike Garrison to the notepad. This is Hot Topics only on Over the Bars.
I'm so glad that I made that.
I'm so glad that we finally get to hear that again. I haven't heard that in so long.
Well, yeah, it's been since last year since we've actually plugged that in.
Yeah. What was my first hot topic? Oklahoma. We're talking about hillbillies, Oklahoma.
Okay.
Transition into what is the most well-known hillbilly in Oklahoma?
Kenny Bartram.
Not the answer we were
Accurate.
looking
That's an
for.
actual real life accurate answer.
Yes, that's not the answer we were looking for.
Not Brett Q.
Nope. He's not a hillbilly.
Oh, Ronnie Mack.
Ronnie Mack. Did you see the thing about Puerto Rico?
Did you see this?
The annexation of Puerto Rico?
Yeah.
No.
What?
Oh, is that what you were?
That's what I was talking about.
I
in my
thought you
post.
just typed that to be funny. I didn't realize
that's
that
from
was
the movie
connected.
The Little Giants. Remember a play they run?
Yeah,
the annexation of Puerto
I
Rico?
knew that. I knew it was from Little Giants, but I totally forgot that that was in reference to Puerto
Yes,
Rico.
100% in reference. Yeah, there's a guy on a motorcycle letting himself in out there. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Okay, cool.
Anyway, yeah.
Ronnie Mack, Travis Pastrana, Ryan Sipes. Is that cool?
On two strokes.
On two strokes.
The dream team.
But now here's my question. How does that even work? Can Ronnie Mack enter as Ronnie Mack?
I don't think so.
So, like, will his name say Ronnie Mack?
I think it'll say Jamie Albertson.
Okay, and then my next question is, will he be full Ronnie Mack?
No, I think he'll be on his RM250. The one with the aluminum gas tank and all the trick parts on it.
The blacked out.
Yep. The really cool
The
bike.
one that right now he's got like number 0 on it.
Yes.
Okay. So he's not going to be riding the 69.
I don't think so. Because it's. I don't know. Honestly.
I don't know how they're going to do it. I know they're doing it, and it's a legit, real deal. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know, because I've heard a lot of talk of it kind of coming. It's been coming for a little while.
That's the other thing, because those bikes, don't they have to be a certain...
That was my thing. That was my whole hang
I
up
don't
in the
know.
whole
Whenever we're talking about the FIM, I don't know what their rules are towards what bikes you can race.
Because you don't even have to have... You can have a full factory bike at FIM.
Yeah,
there's no production rule.
I think you can have a handmade bike, like top to bottom. Now, what I think that it is
3D printed.
It's going to be a 3D printed bike made out of organic composites.
Yes.
That deteriorate after the moto is over. They actually leave the bike out in the track and it morphs into the dirt. No, what I think it is that, if I'm just going to, if I've gun to my head and I have to pick what it is that they're going to do, I'm going to say they're all going to ride Husky 250s. Travis will have Suzuki graphics on his. Jimmy will have his whatever.
His Ronnie Mac FMF, whatever.
And then Sipes will have the Rockstar Husky. And the reason that I think that is because I think that there is some type of
there has to be
rule over what you can and can't race.
Yeah, I didn't think about that until we just started talking. Yeah. But that's true.
That was my whole hang up in the whole thing is like, how are they going to do this? Unless they're literally getting someone, unless they're going to do it as like a promotional first moto of only those guys on the track. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know.
Because that's the other thing. Okay, so.
No, they're racing.
Yeah, I mean, I know. That's what it's supposed to be.
So here's the thing. Okay, so are they taking, like, is this serious?
Yes.
So, like, if Ronnie Mac gets the whole shot and he takes out Tomac, Caroli and Tomac.
So what?
Whatever.
He signed up as Team Puerto Rico.
Yep.
So if you're Tomac and you're the other guys, are you pissed right now?
I don't think you care.
Doesn't matter whether it's Ronnie Mac or
Romain
Fevra. It's another rider.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, also, here, let's take this into consideration.
We could go into this for a while. People ask me about it on Instagram.
Is that they still have to go through time qualifying in the process of gate selection. So, I mean, are Jimmy, Travis, and Ryan going to be banging out heaters that are going to put them in 7th place gate pick? No.
Right. I don't think they're going to make the program. I think it's just...
I think they will. Absolutely.
You think somebody, like, they'll be fast enough to make the program?
Yeah.
Or they'll just make the program?
I think that they'll make it out of... because
Jimmy's rode for Puerto Rico before.
They run like an ABC group or something, don't they?
Well, they have an A and B group, yeah.
Do they?
Yeah. Like, as far as the races go, they do have... Because there's, let's see, 118, I think, available numbers.
Wow.
Yeah. Because it's... Or 120. Because it's 3 groups of 60, and they cut the bottom 30, I think, out of each. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I don't know what they're going to do.
But, I mean, they can only run... There's only... Only 20 teams?
I don't know.
Because they can only have 40 bikes on the track at one time.
Who do you think is the weakest link out of those 3?
Pastrana.
I was going to say the same.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now, can he go out and lay down a hot lap? Yes, absolutely. But can he ride 30 minutes plus 2 laps?
No. I mean, maybe. And by October, he might be able to.
Yeah.
It's Travis Pastrana, dude.
That's true.
It's the hardest part for Pastrana is going to be staying healthy between now and then.
Yes.
For all of them. Well, maybe not Ryan, but...
Yeah.
How about Ryan won the flat track deal?
That's gnarly.
That was sick. Did you see him wheelie over that roller? Yeah.
Was that at X Games?
Sturgis, wasn't it?
Yeah, Sturgis.
Oh, okay.
Sturgis.
But then he made I think it was him that made the post that said, I guess wheelies have never been done in
flat track
before or something.
Yeah, everybody jumps off that single. It's TT, isn't it? Or is it flat track?
Well,
TT has the jump in it, but flat track's just an oval. Or
this was TT.
Yeah.
So it had a jump in the track.
But
so Ryan was wheeling over it.
He was like, instead of hitting it and jumping it, he was like
wheeling over it.
Yeah.
It was super sick.
Yeah.
And nobody's ever thought to do that.
I don't know. I don't know how.
Apparently not. But he
that would have been my first thought.
That apparently nobody's ever done that.
That's what happens whenever you put a motocross racer on a flat track bike.
Anyone. Maybe that's what I need to get into after I'm all healed up, yeah.
Speedway.
No, because that usually turns left. That would put your left shoulder on the ground again.
Ooh, yeah. Well,
that's your right shoulder.
Yeah.
So you'd be fine. Yeah. Flat track would be the way to go.
Yeah.
You know there's a flat track here in Independence.
No, but there was a kid I went to high school with that raced that was like a good flat tracker.
There was a kid that I raced 60s with. His name was Clayton Riggle. Riggle? Riggle, R-I-G-G-L-E. Clayton
Okay.
Riggle.
This kid was Michael Toon, and he was like half my size and rode a 450 flat track bike.
Go,
Honda
Michael,
450.
go. Tune.
Tune in Riggle.
Toon, yeah, what a name. That's like a pro race name if I've ever heard one.
Yeah.
Other hot topics?
Oh, yes. Next hot topic, talking about old bikes. I went to the Valley Speedway Vintage Supercross.
Grand National Championship.
That was what,
Yes.
last week?
Yes, it was.
Tell me more.
Well, I went to watch my dad.
Mm-hmm.
Got there, and he didn't blow up his bike, but he basically blew up his bike.
On the Mako?
Yeah.
Which one?
250.
Okay.
81. Broke a shift drum lever.
Yeah.
Schmanky, panky. But he didn't get to ride. So I was kind of bummed. But that was the coolest thing ever.
Really?
Yes. Like the track is super, like it's narrow and it's kind of grassy and it doesn't have any like doubles or anything like that. Like it's
Singles?
not. Yeah, it's not like a actual 80s Supercross.
Yeah.
But like because everybody's so packed together, it was actually really cool to watch.
So it was kind of almost like big bikes, but pit bike racing.
It was like arena cross, except everybody was going like everybody's pretty much like the same pace the way the classes were laid out.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of like really close racing.
Hell yeah.
And they use like part of the flat track or the dirt track. So like they go up on the big bank.
Yeah.
So like you got some guys that just cruise around it, but then you got some guys that were like hunkering down. Like I was waiting for one to like tuck an arm in.
Yeah.
Like, you got some guys going full on. It was pretty cool.
Did you go to the Supercross race that Shrouts put on there? That myself, Joan Bone, Cody Clark, and Chris Thies all put on a show.
Wasn't that an I-70 Speedway, though?
No, the I-70 Speedway race was...
I went to that one.
I did, too. I watched
the one that
it.
got rained out?
No, I went to the one where the race happened.
Okay, where it was me, Joey Stevens, and Brand Hammond?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so like 5 weeks before then, Dennis posted that big payout for the I-70 race, and they had the track built up really badass, but there were, I don't know, there was like 15 or 20 guys that showed up, and then like the storm of all storms rolled through, and we're blowing canopies out.
Yes.
And there was like no amateur entries. It was practically all pro riders. And we didn't even get to ride practice.
Yes, because like Nick Metcalf was there.
Yep.
But I got thrown into I was riding intermediate, and I got thrown into your practice because there was no intermediates and no big bike open riders.
Yeah.
That was my
Yep.
two classes. I was stuck with you guys.
I remember that.
Yeah. Very scary.
Did you hear I-70 got bought and is opening up again?
Yeah, by
At
the
a dirt
people
track?
that own Heartland Park.
Yeah, that whatever that motorsports group is. I can't remember. I read the article.
You
but
think they
that's
put a
been
motocross track in? How is the
I
Harlan
don't
Park
think so.
motocross track going?
Gone.
It's a field.
Yeah, it's
It's like
completely
a field
grassed
with
over
hills on it.
or weeded
okay.
over.
Weeds.
What happened there?
You tell me.
I can answer that one for you.
Yeah, let's hear it
Yeah,
because
let's
I've
hear
been
it.
wondering
Yeah,
that as well.
The people that own the drag strip just kind of gave somebody the green light of, sure, build a motocross track. You have to operate it. We'll provide the area for you to do it with. Tracy goes in, builds the track, and then holds that first practice, right? Huge turnout. There was like 350 people for the first day.
Wow.
Then the next couple times that they had practice, it was, not very good weather. And they had, the deal was the guy that had the motocross track, and now this is a lot of hearsay and rumors and whatever, so I don't know how accurate this is, but this is what I know.
This is what this entire show is built on.
Yeah, exactly. Hearsay.
Yes.
So, allegedly, they never had a water truck for it. Tracy has his water truck, but they never had a water truck for the track. And they don't have a pond, and they don't have any irrigation. So they would have to use the water truck from KCIR. Now, they don't really have
Park.
use for a water truck there other than watering the pits before everybody pulls in. So the water truck that they had was like ghetto, like real janky. And then every time that they would go to take the water truck out on the motocross track, it would break down. So they would post prep practice, and then the day of the event, they go out to water the track, and then they couldn't. So then it was just clods no water. And then the guy, I don't even know who the dude was that was running the track, would never tell anyone. People would show up, they'd go to the little hut at the front, pay their $20-$30 to ride practice, go out and ride, and it was just marbles. And this actually even happened to me. And it was so bad that they gave us our money back.
And I know that they also
I think that was the last time that they had open practice there.
Well, that would have been, so I know with that Midwest MX series, they had a couple of races scheduled for that got super low turnouts, and it was all because of like weather cancellations and stuff, because it was such a wet spring that first year of that track being open. Like 3 races in a row got rained out, and I think like all 3 were supposed to be at Heartland Park or whatever. And then after that, it was like they were trying to make up those races in 120-degree heat in August or July or whatever.
Was it a cool track?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the day that I rode it, the dirt was so bad, so cloddy, and it was no exaggeration, about 35-mile-an-hour straight-line winds the entire time. That
Kansas?
It was practically unrideable. And they had a woods loop that was the same day as the hare scramble, or the day before the hare scramble. So we actually went over and rode, me and Nick and Tyler Holm and a couple other guys went over and rode the woods loop, and we had a blast over there. But the motocross track was bunk.
I rode the motocross track quite a few times, and I mean, it was all right. To me, there was a couple places where there was too much track for the layout. Does that make sense? Too many obstacles into the layout of the track on a couple parts of it.
Like it was just almost, we just need to throw something here.
Just kind of. There was a couple places where some stuff needed to be taken out. Overall, it was all right. I mean, it was a Kansas dirt bike track. What do you?
It's built in a flat field.
Yeah, it's whatever. But no, the hard part was that nobody showed up. And the crazy part is Topeka has a pretty good riding core group of guys.
But they're all woods riders.
Yeah, because there's no dirt bike track. There's no motocross track.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to go. So. But anyways, yeah, I don't know it's a grass field last I heard.
And I don't think that it will be revived. What blows my mind is, did you take note the facility around the motocross track?
The fence that costs more than the whole track operation that's around it?
They built Heartland Park, dropped, no exaggeration, I'd say $60,000 on a fence to build around the motocross track to fence it in.
Why? A big square fence, just a boundaries fence around it. It's probably more than $60,000.
Like a wrought iron fence or something?
No, it was just a standard fence. Dude, fencing's expensive.
And it's a big, giant area.
Yeah.
Wow.
To keep people out, or whatever. I don't know what their excuse.
So now they just have a big fenced-in field?
They literally just have lumpy. I mean, it's just a bunch of lumps out in a field with a fence around it. Yeah.
That's too bad.
The hard part is it's like from your Kansas City guys, it's just too far. For
I
like
don't
a
believe
week
that
practice
because,
day.
dude, I mean, it's like Dallas. Everybody that goes and rides the underground, unless you live on the southeast side of town, it doesn't matter what part of Dallas or Fort Worth, it's an hour.
Yeah, but
to
that's
an hour
Saturday,
and a half.
Sunday. What I'm talking is a weekday practice to do like a Wednesday night practice or something like that. But
Well, that's
just
out of
what
the
I'm
question. But underground never rides during the week. Yeah.
Did you ever go to I-70's motocross track in the cornfield that
I rode it one time on a 2002 KTM 125.
the Shrout built? That was actually a really good time. It was a very
2 different tracks out there at some
yes,
point.
there was.
There was one over on the hill to the east, and then the one in the cornfield is out to the west.
Hold on,
Or
wait a
north
second.
of the
I only
track to
rode the one
west.
on the hill then. It was like 6-gear tapped on a 125.
You had to go through like woods to get to it.
I don't remember how I got there. I only went there one
The
time.
one you're talking about was to the northwest of the circle track.
no. Okay, no. I'm talking about the other one.
The one to the east.
Yes.
It was like in the tree.
Yes.
Like a field in the middle of a bunch of trees.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
maybe
never-
that was
what I
the
rode.
first one.
I never rode the one you're talking about by the circle track. Never rode that one.
Okay.
I only rode the one you're talking about that was literally wide open all the time.
And but there were terraces?
Yes.
Like ski jumps, yeah.
Yes.
That's the one that I rode.
I rode an 85 there. And then I think I might have rode a 125, or an 80, excuse me, an 80 cc.
So I don't know where it is, but it's somewhere out in central Kansas. LaFawn was telling me about this. I don't think either of you know him, but the guy that bought Letco from Letillier, Mark Render. Mark owns like 1,000-acre ranch out in central Kansas, and allegedly it's like pure sand the entire property is.
Allegedly,
yeah.
Are you going to ride a dirt bike there?
Well, so listen to this. They had and it's not like wooded. There are trees there, but it's not like, around here. They had a hare scramble race scheduled for it a couple years ago. Dave went down and they cut out a course, and a lot of it was grass track, and then they, had some trails and stuff. And Perry, the guy that does the Best of Kansas race, Perry helped design the course. Well, anyway, the day before the race, it was like some record snow come in to where like nobody could get to the track because it's pretty remote, and because it was so snowed out. And like Dave said that him and Perry were at the property whenever the snow started falling, and then they were stuck there an entire day, just snowed in. And they had whiskey and hot dogs and a fireplace, and that powered them through. And they just slept in a trailer. Anyway,
that's an interesting combination.
Yeah. So then they went back and went to do it again, like, I don't know, 3 months later. And the day before the race, they had some record rainfall to where, like, there was a creek in the middle of the property. You had to, like, cross a creek to get there. And I guess that the creek coming in started getting too high, and they had to like cut a bunch of shit out. And then people were having to go in some squirrely way and some fence, and some guy in a truck and trailer came in and like slid down this hill into the fence and like mangled his shit all up. And then people couldn't get into the area because this guy was wrapped up in the fence. Anyway, the way that Dave describes it, he says that, it's grass on top of like the best sandy dirt there ever was, and a lot of it's just pure sand,
like a golf course.
Yeah. And he said that it would be there could be no better property for like a grass track race. And he was telling me this, and I'm like licking my lips over. I'm like, dude, I got to get a hold of Mark and have ourselves a grass track national out there. It's nowhere. It is in the middle of nowhere, but so is
it flat? Or is it hilly?
No, it has elevation.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we could just go out with some banners and stakes and take out a 2-minute long course, and by the end of the day, it would be rougher than, what Unadilla used to be.
Oh.
Do you have any other hot topics?
Sure, I probably did. But my notepad's broken.
By that, you mean you didn't bring one at all?
I didn't bring my notepad.
You didn't do your homework?
I didn't do my homework. Let's see. We discussed Ronnie Mack. We discussed the vintage Supercross. We discussed I don't even know how I didn't think about this. Did you see Caleb Russell at Unadilla?
Yeah, he was like top 5 in the first moto.
Like,
you didn't expect that?
No, I realized with the rain and stuff, like he would be good.
I think he would have been top 5 regardless.
Or at least top 10.
I did not realize that he was that good of a motocrosser.
That's all they ride.
Yeah, the woods guys, they don't train in the woods.
Yeah, but I still didn't realize like he would make, like I've seen like Brown go from like you go motocross to the woods.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to be good. Mm. But I did not expect him to like come out in the 450 class and be like,
dude, the top 10 GNCC guys are all
Moto
top
guys.
20 motocross racers.
What are they doing?
Ryan Sipes is one of those guys. Take that.
I guess Plessinger came from the woods.
Plessinger, okay, but also Russell's a KTM guy. He's been riding at Baker's Factory.
I did see that.
He's on the program.
Move this up a little bit.
I need to be closer.
No, it just shit.
Oh, look what you did.
No, it just looks like you're hunching down to talk.
I'm at least leaning forward.
He's leaning on his pillow. He's tucking the chicken.
You're
wing.
comfortable?
I'm handicapped.
He's tucking the chicken.
I come in, then I go away.
That chair is deadly chair too. If you lean too far back, you're going to flip.
You should at least give me I'm going to stay forward then.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay forward.
Stay right there.
I'm right here. But he's on the program, man. He's on the Baker's program.
I didn't know that.
Baker's dozen. Yeah, there's no reason he shouldn't be a top 10 outdoor guy.
That's
at least
crazy.
now. I mean, and they said he tried a couple years ago, and I kind of remember it on his own program before KTM moved everything in-house and changed everything, and I don't even think he qualified.
What was the Cali guy that did that several
Ricky
years back?
Dietrich?
Yes.
Ricky Dietrich, and came out and was like a fifth-place guy.
Yeah,
or
whatever happened to him?
Drugs.
Is it? I knew he kind of went off.
I think that he
was like a desert guy, though.
yeah,
wasn't
at the same time, he had something going on the side where he was like bringing drugs in for the cartel. Wow. Like, no exaggeration.
That's why he was riding Baja 1000.
Probably. Yeah.
he? Right, desert guy. Yeah.
I had heard that he was importing stuff and got busted.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wasn't
Hearsay.
going fast
More
enough.
than hearsay.
Yeah.
Yeah, clearly.
Well, I mean,
Wasn't
again, I
that
could be
fast of a
totally
desert
wrong.
rider if he got caught.
Wow.
Okay.
How about since we're on like kind of Unadilla and like the mud? How about Tomac making everyone look like they didn't know what they were doing?
I mean, I only watched not even 15 minutes of the first moto.
Right, and that was enough to see just Tomac make a pit stop and then still catch everyone.
He did?
Yeah.
I didn't know
The
that.
pit stop was cool, too.
The pit stop, goggle change.
Oh, sweet.
But it looked
Almost
like
everyone made one, but
But
yeah.
it looked like a routine thing, like from NASCAR. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't like, oh, wow, he's coming in. What are we going to do? How are we going to do? It's like they practiced. Like,
I'm sure that they do.
that's so crazy to
But,
think about, though.
I mean, he was literally just plowing through whatever. It was just like another day in the mud. Like no big deal. It was just surprising.
is it muddy in Colorado? Does he ride in the mud a
not
lot? you
where
think?
he
It's
lives.
on fire. He lives in the desert somewhere, doesn't
Yeah,
he?
he lives
high
down by,
desert
like-
somewhere.
Arizona and Utah. Cortez. Can I pop in the Mike Garrison inspirational video?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to play that.
I don't know that it's going to have the same impact if you don't have the video.
Either way, okay. If it doesn't have it, go to your Facebook page. What's it
Yeah.
on? Tell us where it's at.
At Mike Garrison announcing. So I don't know how this happened, but between the announcing and the podcast and all of that, I got an alert the other day. I cannot accept any more friends on Facebook.
Oh, you've reached that
Look at
5,000
you,
pinnacle.
rock.
I don't know how that happened. I always thought, like, when people make, like, the
says it
public
right there.
figure page,
Oh yeah,
I was like, no, that's not for me.
you're there.
But I had
You made it.
I had to do it.
I got my Instagram asked me if I wanted to be a business profile.
Hell yeah, you do. You ready? We're going to play this.
Play it.
Looking over his shoulder now. Through the bowl turn, wants to get into the whoop section now.
That part's pretty quiet where you're doing the announcing.
Yes. Look at my dog in the back.
I see him. Good doggy. Where'd you get that really like kind of inspirational, maybe a little sad music off of YouTube?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different
Yeah, I
ways you
think
can
I
look at it. You know, some people would look at it as you grew up, you spent your whole childhood, you know, you wanted to be a professional motocross racer and sign an autograph, the factory deals and all that. And in a moment's notice, you know, now you can't walk, you can't feel, and you may never be able to ever again. You could look at it that way, but quite honestly, I wouldn't change it even if I could. You know, I think there's too many great things and too many great opportunities have come from it.
Side by side now. Busquets trying to protect that inside line. Tomac around the outside. Here they come. Eli Tomac to the front now. What a way to start the season. Tomac with a big win. Coming around for that number 2 spot with the 25 of Marvin Busquets.
Yeah, I mean, of course, there's days that I wish I was, on a bike ride and that kind of thing. But to be honest with you, there's something special to be able to tell the story of the sport you love, and you tell it race by race, lap by lap. For me, I think looking back, it's almost more exciting to tell the story sometimes than it is to be, a part of it. And I think that's why I love what I do so much. I think everybody in life has adversity and things that they have to overcome and struggles, but if you look at the opportunities that these struggles can provide you, if you allow them to, it can be truly amazing. I mean, yeah, when I roll up to, you know, the bottom of the announcer's tower, it's got 15 stairs to get up it. Yeah, that's a bit of a struggle to get to the top, but I know at the top, I've got a better view than anybody in the house. And I'm going to get to call some amazing racing. Chances are, if as a kid I would have never swung my leg over a dirt bike, I wouldn't be sitting here in a wheelchair right now. On that same note, chances are, had I never swung my leg over a dirt bike, I wouldn't be half as close to my family as we are now. I would have never stepped out of my shell to experience life. I would have never been truly grateful for the gift of just waking up the next day. And most of all, I would have never met my amazing wife, who she's the one that's pushed me to be where I am today, doing what I love by announcing races. And I don't know whether I will ever be as great as the announcers in this sport that I look up to, but that's not really the point either. The point is, if I can chase my dreams, why can't you? Motocross and racing in general has been my entire life. It's kept me out of trouble. It's given me new meaning to life. It's put me on a path that I would have otherwise never found. And the people within it have inspired me all of these years. Now it's my turn to return the favor. Whether I ever make it as a professional announcer or not, if I can inspire just one person, one single person, to overcome their struggles, their fears, and their setbacks, to pursue their own goals and dreams, then I've succeeded in reaching mine. Never give up. Never quit. I don't care how old you are, your circumstances, your setbacks, whether you're walking or in a wheelchair. Anything is possible. It's up to you to prove it.
Powerful.
Well, bam.
Super cool.
You know, my
Well, bam.
Aubrey texted me. She's like, Jeff, have you watched Mike's video? I was like, what video? You know, because I haven't been on Facebook. And she said, Mike put out a video and it made me cry. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then I watched it with her when I got home.
Yeah, Cal said the same thing because I hadn't seen it posted yet or whatever. And then she said, oh my God, did you see Mike's video?
I thought it was pretty cool how you had a photo of you and me wedged in between a photo of you and Bob Hanna and a photo of you and Jeff Hemmick.
Right?
I'm
like
like,
that?
damn.
Man, they are both, those other photos are way cooler than you guys are.
Yeah, but just by, being,
Just by slightly.
Yeah.
Just by
by
slightly.
being halfway in the middle. Go ahead.
It's super cool. Where can everybody watch that at? It's
Okay,
on-
so it's on Facebook. That's where I originally posted it. It's on at Mike Garrison Announcing. But you can also, if you're a friend of mine on Facebook, you can also go there. And it's also on, if you go to my Instagram, the link to it is in my bio, which is at Mike Garrison 247.
Fair enough.
What made you decide to make that?
Okay, two things.
Okay.
Well, actually, three things. Okay, so first of all, because I've been doing a lot of soul searching is not the right word, but like, I don't know what I want to say. Like here lately, I've just been like, I don't know. I don't know where I'm trying to go with this. Like, what do I want to do in life? You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's soul searching. I'll go
Yeah,
with that.
yeah, like just kind of trying to like just map things out, I guess, sort of. So that, and then I have no other way to put it. Quite frankly, I get very frustrated because there are a lot of. So, like, I was able to do the Monster Cup,
Right.
and I did like Hangtown and those types of things. So when you do things like that, there's a lot of people that tell you a lot of things that you want to hear, but at the same time, they don't follow through.
People will tell you what you want to hear, not what you need to hear.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was kind of in a way, I was kind of like, why do I keep doing this? Like, why do I keep pushing this whole announcing thing? Because it's like, okay, I did this. Okay, they said, oh, you were so good. We want to have you back again. Come do this race. Come do that race. But then when that race rolls around, It's like I don't get a text
Your
back.
phone doesn't get.
I don't get an email. I don't get a call. That kind of thing. So I'm like, why am I doing this? But then I'm kind of like, maybe I'm not really like. Yeah, I enjoy doing it. Don't get me wrong. But it's more satisfying when I go do these things to get on Facebook and see like people are like, that's so rad. I'm going to do this, you know, and like, so that's kind of what's more rewarding out of it so far than, so it's kind of like, okay, hey, it's okay if you don't quite make it to where you know, if this guy tells you, hey, we're going to have you back in 2 months to do this, and he never calls you, it's not the end of the world. Because at the same time, even if you're just doing something small, you might be inspiring somebody to do something else. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's kind of where it came from.
You said there were 3 things. That was 2.
I thought that was 1.
Maybe I've lost count here. I don't remember exactly.
We started with soul searching.
Soul searching.
And then the second thing.
I guess that I kind of combined the 2.
Oh, okay.
Was like, I did it a little bit because I was kind of like losing track myself of why I was doing it. Mm-hmm. And so then I kind of, as I was putting it together in my mind, was like putting together, why am I doing this? And then the third one was kind of like, hey, even if I don't quite make it to where I'm hoping to make it, it still has a purpose behind it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's awesome. The whole video is awesome. The whole thing's cool.
I can relate to that.
Yeah. I'm sure you can.
Yeah.
I think anybody that watches it or even listens to it on the show can relate to it. At some point.
The pictures that are in it make it, you know, it's like, it's a 50-50 deal. To only hear the audio isn't quite telling of the story as much as the photos that go along with it are.
Yeah. And yes. I have a lot to say. I just don't want to shoot myself in the foot, so I'm going to stop now.
That happens.
Yeah.
So tell us about Prove the Impossible.
Is that still a thing?
Is that still a thing, or is that?
Well, I don't even know really where it came from, to be honest with you. Okay, so I have no idea where that came from. Like, some point along the way, I said that. I said anything is possible. It's up to you to prove the impossible.
Right.
And so I made my email that because at the time, like, I didn't have it. I had an AOL email, and I was like, I'm so old school. I need a new email. I was Dirt Monster at AOL.com. Yeah, exactly. Right, so I was like, I need something else. So I did provetheimpossible@gmail.com.
Right.
And then it just kind of escalated from there. And I've had 1,000 different ideas to go with it, but I've never, like, fully followed through or acted upon them, which I probably should have or should, but I don't. But I haven't.
Well, let's do it.
Okay.
I don't know what, but I'm on board.
So
whatever you want to do, I'm on board.
Okay, so my one, but see, here's the other thing. Okay, I have a really hard time like talking about myself. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, I have people that
says the announcer guy and the guy with the podcast.
You know, it's way easier to talk about other people. It's
right.
Way okay. So like, I'll have somebody say like, "Hey, you should go to schools and tell your story." But to me, I'm like, what am I telling? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I guess I don't see what I'm supposed to tell. What am I supposed to tell?
What's your message? That's what you're saying.
I guess. Yeah. I mean.
But you know what your message is. I think you do.
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what's weird. Like, I don't know. So I've been trying to put it all together. Like, I would love to go, like, do some motivational things, but, like, kind of in a unique way. Not like where when you go to school and the kids are, like, falling asleep and they're like, oh, dude, at least we get out of class for this. Like, I want something that, like, kind of wraps people up.
Yeah.
So I was going to try to do something kind of with when I was riding with the cage bike thing, but I never really knew how to kind of bring all that together.
Like jump through a ring of fire in the gymnasium or something?
I don't know if I was going to go that far, but yeah.
I fell into a burning ring of fire.
I mean, but yeah, to answer your question, where Prove the Impossible came from, I think it all literally came from, I said that one day, and then I made an email, and then it has just escalated.
I mean, I can totally understand where you're at. You're kind of like this idea or this and that where it kind of comes together, and then it kind of loses itself in the mix of everything, and not because you're too busy or anything like that, just because you don't really know what direction to take it.
Exactly.
And like I totally understand what you're saying because my schools have kind of gone that same way. Like I don't see myself building a facility and turning it into a full-time real life deal. I think it'd be cool. But I mean, like,
I know what you're gonna do.
but like,
Motherfucker, quit lying.
I don't really see it going that way. But like in the beginning, like when I started it, I had no goal.
Yeah.
I just want to do some schools.
Yeah.
They were cool. Do some schools. Try to, just help kids, help riders become better riders. I wanted it to, you know what I mean? And then like I didn't have no map, no arrow, no direction, no end point, no goal for it other than I just wanted to help other people. And that's where you're at right now with it.
Yes. And like, I think a lot of, okay, I'm going to say this. Where the video came from, I think a lot of it is for a number of events that I just want to do just to do them because I love doing it. Like I have gone as far as saying, and I'm not trying to open the door here to say that I like to announce for free, but I have contacted as many people as I can possibly contact and say, listen, I'll pay my own way. I will pay for my entire stay and you don't have to pay me a dime. I just want to do it just for a chance. And if you like me, then we'll talk about me coming back and you can hire me to do it, from there. And when you don't get a call from that, you're like, or they're like, no, we got a guy. You're like, I'm going to punch myself in the face.
Well, I think a lot of it, and I've told you this before, is that people see it as, oh, he means well.
Well, yeah, I get that too.
It's you get what you pay for.
That's true too.
And whenever you have someone that says, "Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that for less than $1,000,"
that's true.
People see it as, well, here's somebody that's willing to do it for free, and then here's someone that's willing to, or only willing to do it if he gets paid $1,000. Which one is more likely to be high quality?
Yes.
And you could be better. Like you probably are better than the person that's has that $1,000 rate, but it's the same thing. I mean, it's business.
I'm terrible at business.
Yeah, I know.
Terrible, terrible at it.
Yeah, I'm just as bad about it as anybody.
If we're talking about making stickers, if I won the lottery, like literally, if somebody came in and was like, "Hey, I need stickers right now, but I can't pay you ever," okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
like you could just have them. That's fine. Unless I just don't like you.
But what I'm trying to say is that I don't know what it is that you need. Like maybe you need some type of, like, not a business manager, but like some type of representation to where someone will.
You need an agent.
Yeah, like an agent.
You need an agent.
Yeah,
you
it's
need
almost
somebody
like
I feel like these terms you guys are throwing out there are for like, it's kind of like the public figure page.
100%. That's what you are. That's what you're doing.
No, I am a hillbilly dude.
100%.
I am a hillbilly dude. We are doing a podcast in my small, tiny office. Like I don't need
studio, sir.
Sorry, I don't need a public figure page. Like I don't feel deserving of a public figure page, let alone an agent. Like agents are for like movie stars, like Ryan Dungey, like these kind of people.
He's a movie star.
Well, you get what I'm saying. Like
I understand your the humility of what it is that you're saying.
But I guess that's kind of what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Business, there's no room for that in business.
And do you think that, like now, Jeff Emig and Ralph Shaheen, do you think they have agents or business managers or people that represent them to get them in the right situation at the right place at the right time? Probably. So if you want to be on par with those guys, you got to be able to play the game. And if you're coming in as, hey, I'm Mike, I'm a hillbilly guy, I'll do it for free. And then you have Jeff Emig with his jet black hair and his fucking sunglasses coming in and saying, I'm not saying a word until I get a $10,000 check. Whoever it is that, is putting one versus the other, they're going to say, well, this is the professional, this is the guy that's doing it, so on and so forth. Now, how it is that you're going to get in, dude. Last night I was watching some stock car racing.
Okay.
And I was thinking, dude, Mike would be great at this.
I would love to announce stock car racing.
Have you ever done it?
No, well, when I say stock car racing, I'm not talking like necessarily like NASCAR style. I'm talking like dirt track.
Yeah.
Right. Like sprint cars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think you could be great at that.
Never done it.
What? I mean,
why not?
That's not going to stop you from doing it.
Where would I do that at?
That's what your agent's for.
There you go.
Lucas Oil Speedway.
Lucas
Wheeling.
Oil, Lakeside.
They have their own TV channel.
I-70 now that it's coming back. Yeah, no, see, that's what I was watching. Is I was watching a Lucas Oil production. Is Motocross Track still there?
No, it was built on the trophy truck track.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Was they got a motocross track?
No, well, it's a trophy truck.
Trophy truck track.
Yeah.
Motocross.
And was that a one and done?
It might be back this year, but it shouldn't.
I haven't heard anything about it.
I doubt it. I don't know.
They run a lot of side-by-side races.
Side-by-side and trophy trucks.
Yeah.
And that's the fastest I've ever gone on a motorcycle, on a dirt bike.
6-year completely pinned.
As fast as it would go.
Yeah.
Towards a concrete barrier.
Rock on. Rock hard, ride
After
hard.
it got watered. Sketch.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's all that it is unless businesses, they have money to spend on announcers. Okay. They need good color commentary. And like Feld isn't worried about saving $1,000. What they're worried about is getting the best personnel for the job.
Yeah. That's a solid point.
In that situation, I think it's time for you to figure out, because you're almost like an artist. You need representation. You need someone to put your name out there, a business manager, someone that knows who to contact, how to contact them, because that's not your job.
I'm a terrible salesman.
Right, exactly. Your job is to make the call. Your job is not to contact every single...
You're trying to get a sponsorship for a set of free gear like a 15-year-old, like I did when I was 15 type of deal. Does that make sense?
Really what you need to be getting, your capability puts you in the level of the top dogs, but you're, playing disc golf in the backyard.
So what you're telling me here
100%.
is instead of shooting for Team Puerto Rico, I should shoot for like Team America?
Team USA.
Yeah.
And then if you have to, you start then you end up in Team Puerto Rico. And you
But right now I'm like
there.
Team Kansas City.
No, right now you're at Lakeside Speedway.
Yeah, no, right now you're just showing up to watch the races.
Eating popcorn.
But I had to pay double for my tickets because I bought them late. I didn't prepay, so I had to buy
the day of charge.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're going to have to figure out how to get representation, artist representation.
And that's the wonderful thing about Google.
Instead
of 50 emails, you need to send one.
Mm-hmm.
Announcer agent.
Google, whatever, yeah. It could be anything, man. And the people that are in that business are in that business.
Yeah, they know how to direct you.
It doesn't matter.
Or your profile, your resume. They know what to do with you. That's not your problem. You have to pick the best agent for the job. Okay.
What in the world am I looking for? And then do you find one like in the racing industry? Because I like announcing.
Maybe. No, that's not. No. You got to think bigger picture than that.
Okay.
Because we're talking about color commentary.
Okay.
Or the call, the commentator.
Okay.
Now, how many guys have announced on TV where you're like, who the hell is this guy and how does he know anything about motocross? I mean, the guy, whenever motocross or whenever Supercross, the title sponsor was Speed Stick. I can't remember the guy's name that called the races.
I know who you're talking about.
But the guy was great at the job.
Yeah.
But you're like, who? This dude has nothing to do with motocross. I've never heard of this person. How do you think he got that job?
Solid point.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is one day, like, you might flip on the Golf Channel, and here comes the putt.
Yeah.
He's got it.
And you know what? That'll pay more than announcing the Monster Cup.
You think so? What if I accidentally screw up, though? What if I just get real excited like I did like when Roxon endoed at the Cup?
Well,
that's fine. That's what they want. That's not a screw up. Have you watched any European sport of anything?
It's screaming the entire time.
Those are the best announcers ever.
Guys,
MXGP's, that British guy.
Yeah, the thing is,
Paul Malin.
Yeah, he's awesome and he's super good. But I still wish he had another guy in the booth with him.
He does.
Boom.
Yes.
There's you. He doesn't have another. It's just him. Everyone I've ever watched, it's just him.
I would be happy to go sit.
That is you. That's your job opening right there.
Romania or wherever we're going next weekend.
Yeah,
for the MXGP.
Mm-hmm.
That would be so sick.
But you have to charge an irate amount of money for that.
See, that's where like I don't know. I think it's because we're like Midwesterner people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
100%.
saying? Like, I don't like braggy, cocky people. So like, I don't want to be like.
And you do a podcast with this guy?
Well, no, but you know what I'm saying.
Stock dropper.
Like, I can't do that. Like, I couldn't be like, if somebody says, "How much is your announcing worth?"
That's
I
what
hate
your
that question.
agent is for.
Hate that question. When people ask me, even RC races, "Hey, how much do you charge for?" I always say, "How does this sound?" You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
because like I don't know. I just
Sales isn't your.
no, it's not.
No, it's not.
I was hired by a company to do sales. I was a sales manager.
Ooh.
And I made it, dude, I think I made it a month only because the boss was in Taiwan for 3 of the 4 weeks.
Sweet.
When he came back, he was like, "How was your sales?" What are we doing?
Yeah.
I'm making sales. We have lots of friends, but we have no sales.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I was whenever I first started ripping rides. You know, I mean, I had my price of what it cost me, and then every person that came to me, they'd be like, "Hey, how much for a set of graphics?" And I'd be like,
Yeah, it's hard.
yeah, it's like, man, do I feel like, am I comfortable charging someone $200 for stickers?
Yeah, it's hard.
Right. But then what really made me comfortable in it is I developed my own style, and I realized it's something that people are willing to pay for. Because, what it is I had a bad customer, and I was like, "Fuck you! You're paying full retail for blowing me up. Like, leave me alone. Don't show up at my house. Like this dude was super weird towards me." And so he's like, "How much? How much for stickers?" Like $235. Okay. And I was like, "Wow. Okay. Well, then I look at bike graphics. I look at a decal. I look at factory
effects.
No.
Backing.
Factory backing. And I started looking at other people's websites, and I realized that $235 shipped is a bargain at retail price. So I was like, okay, well, now I don't feel so bad because I'm still undercutting competitors, and I'm making a lot of money at the same time. So whenever I owned it, it's like now that I started charging more, people are more, it's like, it's almost as if more people are comfortable to sell me or buy something from me for $230 as opposed to, it just does that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. People are more comfortable spending $235 versus spending $130,
When they're going to get what they want.
Exactly. No, that's the thing is you get what you pay for.
Did anybody else find it odd that you're talking about making stickers and being comfortable with making stickers, and the sticker machine literally just fired up like it had something to say about it?
Yeah. It's like, print me.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's just, I kind of like with my schools.
Yeah,
the same
absolutely.
deal. The price is the price because it doesn't cost me any less just because of whatever reason. It still costs me to have it at a track somewhere. Like at your house, it still costs me to pay you to have it at your track or, whatever track it is.
Yeah.
And so it still has to make sense business-wise. It's a business thing. This is the fee. If you can make it, great. If not, the next guy in line will pay it and come for it. If I can cut you a deal, if something works out, maybe the track fee isn't as much, then I cut everybody a deal. You know what I mean? Or maybe, hey, the track is shit. I'm not going to charge as much or whatever. I try to work with what I can, but there's a going rate and this is what the rate is. And if you don't want to pay it, then I'm sorry. This is what I believe my time and my effort and all of this is worth. My knowledge and my ability to pass that knowledge along to the rider, I believe is worth what it cost.
And you've seen it firsthand whenever people will message you or email you and be like, hey, how much for a set of whatever? And then you tell them and then they kind of react like, oh man, that's pretty top dollar. So then you lower your price.
Yeah.
And then once you get in cahoots with them, you realize that they're a terrible customer.
Yes.
And it's those kind of people that pay the least, expect the most,
yes,
and are the worst to deal with.
Yes.
Except for me, I want you guys to give me stuff for free.
Is absolutely. So So like with you have to think about, flip it to where you're in the situation of now you're the one charging. Are you going to get quality jobs if you only charge $130 for a day of announcing?
Yeah, that's true.
Or are
Yeah,
you
yeah.
more likely to get a more, you set your price par for the course.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you cost $5,000 a day, then you're going to be announcing the type of events that can afford to pay you those $5,000 per day.
It's kind of like when you're going fishing. If you use a bigger lure, you're only going to catch bigger fish because small fish can't.
Precisely. Yeah.
Small fish.
And you may catch less fish, but you're going to catch a larger fish eventually.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
So
Still a lot easier said than done, but yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, if you have someone that
will
is
do it
putting
for you?
your name out there, and see, now mind you, it's their absolute incentive to get you these bigger jobs. And the reason for it is because they get a commission.
Yeah.
So if Joe agent gets you a deal that pays you $5,000, well, that's $1,000 in his pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, then you get four. If it's like a 20% deal, which I mean that's probably a pretty good going rate for a good agent. 20%. I mean, would you be willing to pay a guy $1,000 to get you $4,000?
Yes.
Yeah, you would.
Yes.
So he's going to get those deals for you, and it's his incentive to get those for you. And then,
If I got paid $5,000 to announce a race,
well, we're not talking about motocross racing.
I don't care. If I was paid $5,000 to announce anything, if I was paid $5,000 to announce a high school prom,
Yeah.
I don't care. That'd be wow.
Dude, that's small dollars, man.
Yeah.
TV money is big money.
Yeah.
Stadium money is big money. Any of that kind of stuff. It should be.
Of all the movies you've been watching, have you ever watched The Wolf on Wall Street?
Yeah.
Or Of Wall Street, or whatever it is?
Wolf of Wall Street.
I'm like mesmerized by that movie, not because of all of the naked chicks or the drugs that are involved, but just for the fact that guy, like his whole train of thought of like, I could never do that.
And
I could
I
never
don't know
be
if you know
that
this.
like so good at sales.
That movie is a true story too.
I know.
Yeah.
Like when he's making the sales call, when he's in the investment center, the penny
Yeah.
stocks place, and he's making that phone call, and he makes the Aerotine or whatever,
Yeah,
the shed place, when he makes it sound so good. Like I would have called him and been like, yeah, there's this really nice two boys, and they have just a shed right now, and like
You would have said exactly what it is.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I would have got hung up on.
Yeah.
Think of it this way. You're always selling. Always. You're always selling. You're always selling. Always closing. What that's the saying from a bunch of your big time financial business guys. You read their books, you read their things. You're always closing or you're always selling. Think of it that way. This podcast, you're selling right now. Just being on here talking about whatever it is you want to talk about, putting yourself in front of a microphone.
How bad we are at selling. How bad I am at selling.
You are. Yeah.
Yeah. He said you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you have to kind of look at it that way because it doesn't.
Hold on.
Go.
I just had a train of thought.
Oh, shit. Here we go.
Choo-choo.
Are you ready for
Do you have a
this?
sound effect for that?
What I want you to do, Mike, is I want you to prove the impossible and make yourself good at sales.
Why would he do that? Why would he put that on
you're
me?
challenging-
Why would he put that on me? He just took my own little thing, spun it
punched you in
around
the face with it.
yes. Oh.
I think you needed to hear that.
Ooh.
I'll help you out with that.
Okay.
I'll help you out. I got some information, some resources, some stuff I can get to you.
Okay.
It'll help.
There's a book that I think that you should read. What are you doing? Don't. That hurts.
Good.
Scott's
There's a book you
plucking
should
arm hair
read
out of
called
Jeffrey.
The War of Art,
Okay.
or The War on Art.
The art of the deal. Is the
Well,
one
that's
I'm-
The Dawn.
The
No, The
Dawn.
War on Art. And it's about procrastination. It's about finding self-worth. It's about realizing your actual potential and doing the couple small things to put yourself in the correct mindset to do what it is that you want to do, instead of making excuses, instead of saying I'm not worth or whatever it is. There's also another book called You Are a Badass that I think that you would benefit from, because it's not like you don't have self-esteem. You do. It's just that you need someone to tell you what you're worth and then you can feel okay with it. But really what you need is to realize your own self-worth and become confident in that.
Have you guys ever thought about being like therapists or psychologists or anything like that?
Yeah, we're doing it right now.
Yeah, right now.
Yeah, okay.
We're doing it right now.
Fantastic. You're proving the impossible.
I'm trying to think of titles for this podcast, like of.
Yeah, where does this podcast even?
We'll find that out at the end.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. But I'm telling you, man, you have the abilities for sure. You need someone right now. Okay, you made your video. You're soul searching. You're kind of out there right now. You're not really sure where to go next. Am I right?
Yeah, you're pretty spot on.
So, right, in my opinion, we're finding that right now. We're figuring this out together.
Should we be holding hands?
I mean, that's kind of
you
hard
can't.
for me.
You got a chicken wing.
Like, so for you, it's you need help finding direction on what to do. Jeff, is that your favorite song? Is that
Kumbaya, my Lord. Can you guys chime in?
Can you
ready?
throw in?
No, listen. You ready? Kumbaya. Mike, you ready? Kumbaya, my Lord. Kumbaya. Okay, that's good.
Wow. What in the world? This just took a weird turn.
All right, I'll find direction. I'll find an agent. We're moving on.
Oh, that was easy.
We're talking to Jeff now.
I'm the only one that hasn't been picked on yet.
I'm not even going to pick on you because part of one of my ideas that I've just never found the balls to follow through and organize it and get it done was I wanted to incorporate this whole prove the impossible thing in with like riding and that kind of thing.
Riding or writing?
Riding, as in riding a bike.
Okay, yeah.
Riding a bike. But not on a competitive level because I respect the guys that ride that are in my situation that are paralyzed and riding and all that.
Jesse Gildy.
Yes.
He's an amazing person on a dirt bike.
Yes. They have way bigger balls than I will ever have. So therefore I have no intention of ever riding like to be competitive.
Yeah.
But like just riding as in like part of the story type thing. And the biggest shot at doing that would be to ride an Alta.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know of anyone that's ever ridden an Alta? Because I don't know anything about an Alta.
Well, it's funny you say that.
What a transition that was. Wasn't
Wow,
it?
that was
Slick, huh?
Yeah, good, nice work, nice work. And you don't get paid for this? What?
Yes, yes, we do.
From here on out,
$10,000 a show. Jeff, give me $10,000 every time you sit down here.
well, I'm buying your dinner.
Okay, that's close enough.
So-
Am I supposed to agree to that? Is that good enough? We went from $10,000 to dinner.
Well, we're talking about over the bars.
We need to
and-
negotiate. See, now you need some negotiation skills.
Let me call my agent.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay.
It's kind of like when you get in trouble and you need an attorney.
Yeah.
I'm not talking to anybody without an attorney. Now you're not talking to anybody without an agent.
Okay.
Yeah. You need to speak with my agent.
Yes.
Have my people get with your people. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I rode the Alta yesterday at Bar to Bar. Thank you to Brandon. Spacing his last name. I can't believe I am right now. Bees Motor Lab, Brandon.
They were at the Junior Moto X.
He was.
Yes, I did not realize they had such a big Cobra team.
He is the Cobra guy.
Yeah,
Yep.
I didn't know that like he was that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it going to be the same with Alta, or is he just a dealer, or how's that
No,
work?
he's just a dealer, and I mean, I asked him the deal. You know what it took. What it took to become a dealer with Alta, and it really depends on your market, where you're at, and your shop size. And Alta, he got the franchise. I don't know what he had to pay or what the deal was for getting the franchise, or what the exclusivity area is for his dealer. As far as I know, like there can't be another Alta dealer in Wichita. Not that anybody else would start one.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long his agreement goes. But he did say that he got two in. One of them is a demo bike, and then the other one was just straight retail sale, and he sold it within a couple days of it arriving.
Wow.
Yeah.
Last time I checked, he's the only Alta dealer like in the Midwest that I know of. isn't he?
There's Colorado, Texas.
I mean, like if you're a Missouri, Kansas guy, though, you're
You're going to Wichita.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm. And he said that the 19s come in, I think, on Tuesday.
And he just got a new shop, expanded, all kinds of stuff. He's went all in and then some.
Yeah,
I know he's got a really good operation
turned it
going.
up. So yeah, he sells Cobras and he's an authorized Cobra dealer, which is a smart move for him. Because dude, like you go to the track, like yesterday, he had Cobras lined up. Not that they're breaking down, but it's just people are getting into the sport and they're not mechanical, and so they need someone to work on the bikes. And so Brandon's over there with little mini bikes, and he's banging out tires and charging the Alta and
on a practice day.
On practice day, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's cool because he can go, he is a one-man show practically. The only person that works for him, as far as I know, is Connor Richardson, which is Bruce that owns Sparta Bar. It's his son.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Connor's his right-hand man. So anyway, Brandon had the Alta on display, and him and I have talked about, hey, I want to ride that bike, sometime. And so he's always been, dude, just let me know. We'll get dialed in for you. And so I rode 3 sessions on my 250SX, and then the final time I went out on the Alta. And I started off in map 2, and I did all the jumps first lap in map 2. And then I clicked it up to map 3, and it went from I don't know, it's kind of like map 2 is kind of like a 150, essentially. It's about the power output that it has.
Okay.
And then you click it up to map 3, and it's like it's a very linear 250F. It's like halfway between a 250 and a 350. But to compare them is wrong, because obviously you don't clutch, you don't shift. It just, you start here, and instead of it having a hit and then a drop off, it's just very up and then flat. Okay, so it's a very gradual climb. But you get going fast quickly. The map 3 really is it limits the torque output. I never even got into map 4. How
many maps are there?
4. So 1 is like beginner rider, never rode a motorcycle before. Number 2 is like soft trail. Number 3 is like advanced trail. Number 4 is like motocross, 450 motocross class. I didn't ride it in map 4. I was, I had 5 laps on the bike. I just clicked it up into 3 and just, was going.
Can you click it on the fly?
Yeah. As you're riding, you can change it. Yeah. Which would actually be really smart. Let's say map 4 has too much torque for you, but you want to get a good start.
Yeah,
you
that's what I
go
was
out,
thinking.
rip the whole shot. Halfway in the first lap, you clip down into map 3, and then you're around a 350 for the rest of the moto. Yeah.
And how good's the charge for? Don't know.
I can't say because yesterday I asked him if I could ride it. He said yes, and then we threw it on the charger. But then he had the Alta charger and his air compressor running off of the same generator, and it actually tripped the breaker on the generator. So it only charged for about a minute and a half. And in 5 laps, I mean, who knows? I didn't ask. He said it had been a while since he had charged the bike. So we're talking about an old charge. I mean, even if the bike isn't on, it's like any other battery. It does kind of drain down just by existing. So I started with about a little more than 3/8 battery. And in 5 laps on map 3, it was blinking the last battery life. It didn't go into limp mode, which it has. He said that once you get to E, it goes into limp mode, and then it's just, quarter throttle, real steady, and you can just get back to your pit. I didn't get to that point.
Okay, so enough about the technical. It's a dirt bike. Instead of a motor, it's got a battery. Tell me about it.
Okay. Well, let me set it up by saying my bike has the AER 48 forks on it. It has the same shock also. So before I even rode the bike, what I did was I adjusted the forks and the shock to be identical to my bike, because what I didn't want is to go out and ride it and be blowing through the stroke and have a quick rebound or weird shock or weird suspension settings. So I made it identical to my bike. Even though the Alta is heavier than my bike, I just wanted that base level suspension setting that I'm comfortable with from the jump. And riding it, okay, see, you automatically think, dude, there's no clutch, there's no shifting, this is going to be weird. It's odd because whenever you jump on that bike, there's something about the power output you never even think about. For me, I never even thought to reach for the clutch or to bang out another shift because the power just keeps climbing, okay? As far as the actual chassis operation on the track, very flickable, very light feeling, and I've never had a shock work so good. And I think it's because there's such little weight at the back of the bike and the bulk of the weight is so low to the ground that the back half of the bike feels so different. I mean, sponge is the wrong word, but it was like, you know how a stress ball is? You squeeze one of those stress balls? That's what it felt like, dude. Every single thing was plush. It just squeezed through the braking bumps. I would have liked to change the suspension settings a little bit. I would change them from what I ride for the Alta just because the way the weight is, where the weight is at. Dude, accelerating, braking, the whole deal, it is very predictable. It's very linear. It's very stable. The hardest part for me, and this is something that I noticed about the bike in general, it points out all your bad habits immediately. If you don't squeeze the bike with your legs, it's going to point that out. If you squeeze too hard with the handlebars, it's going to point that out. Same thing with clutching in the middle of a corner when you should just be on the gas. It tells you, hey, you're doing this wrong. Because there would be times where going through a corner, you know, on like my 250SX, I might fan the clutch a little bit because I'm not, you know, I'm on the gas, but I'm not 100% committed to it. On the Alta, you can't do that because the only way to slow down is to let off the gas. So what you have to do is you have to commit. If you're going to ride it fast, you have to commit to barreling through a corner, to getting pitted, to not letting off of the gas because you let off the gas and the bike stands up. So I noticed there was a couple times where I'd be in a corner and I'd screw something up and the bike would stand up. Well, that was just me not doing the right thing on the bike. So more time on the bike would help with that. But, dude.
Does it have engine braking?
Yes. Massive engine braking because it has a regeneration deal where it actually feeds back into the battery. Same way like a Prius does.
Okay.
Yeah, you let off of the gas or the throttle, and as you let off, the rear wheel binds.
Okay.
And the chain is pushing the countershaft forward, and it's taking that power and feeding it back into the battery loop.
So it doesn't just literally freewheel?
Not at all. No, it's like the original YZ426, YZ400 is how much engine braking it has. It's massive. But it keeps you from braking. You know, it helps you get off of your rear brake.
What about if you like chop it on the takeoff?
I scrubbed some jumps with it, you know.
So it doesn't just nosedive?
No, it doesn't nosedive. No. I did notice, though, like, okay, so at bar to bar, you do the start, go left, there's a right, a single, a right, a scrubber, and then a big triple. Over that big triple, and I like to jump and get that front wheel down really quickly, and I blip the throttle in the air. On that bike, you blip, and it goes, whew. I mean, the front end comes up, dude, way more massively. Now, a lot of that is because all of the spinning parts are in the very middle of the bike at the very bottom. So you torque it, and that front end comes up because it's not just the rear wheel that's torquing the bike. It's in the middle of the bike. So it's like the axis point or the cradle. It goes, whoop, the front end comes up real quick. But it's a cool feeling. There's something else I was going to say. Also, passing people was really fun because, I mean, you could, Dave told me whenever I passed him, he had told me that whenever, because he stayed behind me for a little bit, he said whenever I would pass people, they would veer off. Like it scared everybody that I passed.
That would make me so mad.
To have someone silent pass you?
Just pass on an Alta in general. Just like, you know what I mean?
What? So, okay, everybody loves the sound of a two-stroke, and then we go to the four-stroke.
Right.
What is it like with no sound? Does that mess with you at all?
No, actually, I swear to God, you can ride the bike better because you can't hear it.
Really?
Yes, it is.
Because you're not focusing on whether you're railing.
Exactly. No. It takes a distraction away. Because, I mean,
It's kind of like you put exhaust on your car or your truck, and you automatically lose 5 miles a gallon because you're gassing it harder at the stop signs and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a way to explain it. Is that it removes your mind off of the sound of the engine, and it's one less thing that you're thinking about. Because whenever you're riding and you're using the engine, to like tell you how fast you're going, obviously you don't have that key.
Yeah.
So now you have to rely simply on the feel of the speed.
Yeah.
And it gives you a very raw feeling of how fast you're actually going without the sound. Never once was I like, man, I wish I could hear the bike. Never once did I think that.
Let me ask you this. Was it hard, not just sound, but in general, to like judge things like
No.
jumps and stuff?
Not at all. No.
Okay.
No, I know. And I was kind of, that's the first lap. I mean, mind you, I had 13 seconds on the bike before that bigger triple, so I didn't jump that first lap, just because I wasn't sure how the bike would, in the air. After that, I mean, I jumped everything else on the track, and there's another real big double on the backside. Jumped it first lap, and second lap I was scrubbing it. And you can throw the bike around, and it's cool because you twist the throttle and the bike will correct itself very much. It'll even come back from sideways. It's like a gyroscope. You twist the throttle and the whole thing. So, I know what I was gonna say. You know how so because it has that giant brushless motor inside of it that makes noise, you can hear that. Okay, you can hear the motor making noise. It's a faint noise, but there is a noise. But there's resistance that you're hearing. Okay, so like whenever you're in the dirt and you're going zzz, 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 that kind of shit through the rollers and stuff, whenever the bike comes off of the ground and you hold it wide open, it goes silent because there's no resistance being made.
That's weird.
It's just the sound of the tire spinning. There's nothing.
Just chain noise.
So whenever you're going through rollers and the bike comes unloaded and you've got it wide open still, instead of going ba ba ba, it's zzz, 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 it goes silent. But the rear wheel's still spinning and you can feel it. So now
Mike is mesmerized
right
now.
Dude,
If you can't see Mike, he's just mesmerized.
You're simply riding just off of feeling, which it's a whole new ball game.
How's the fit and finish? How's the cockpit?
Okay, whenever you jump on first and you're looking down and the shape of the shrouds, because they're not radiators, the shape of the shrouds, it looks and feels like a jet ski whenever you look down at it.
That is the last thing I thought he was going to say. I was waiting for a certain bike.
No,
I was going to try to make a jet ski comment earlier.
No, but when
Wow.
you're riding it, it doesn't have that feeling at all. Now, actually, I take that back. You know how on a jet ski, the only way to turn is on the gas? It's kind of similar to that on the Alta. Because if you let off of the gas, the bike stands up. Same thing with a jet ski. You let off the gas, the bike stands up. Now, a lot of that is because of the engine braking, and it forces the bike up. But as far as I absolutely hated the stock bars that were on it because I run Mikas that it's like riding with a 2x4 straight. They're perfectly straight. I like tall bars that are upright. I didn't like how the front brake lever was. I did like the brakes. The brakes were amazing. It's got, I don't know if it was Brembo or Magura, but they're fantastic. Front brake was great.
I think they're Brembo.
And then the rear, the pedal was adjusted too tightly, so you barely tapped on it, and it would lock up real easy. But then I got to the point to where I just was like barely feathering the back brake because of the regeneration, the battery regeneration. Cornering, dude, it was good. Sitting on the bike. Oh, the weirdest part about it for me, because of the way that, and again, this is something you don't realize you do until you ride a bike that's very different. When I ride, I hook my heels into the frame. Well, where the foot pegs are at in relation to the frame, on the left side of the bike, my heel would go up against the swing arm, not the frame. And there was a couple times where I could feel the vibration of the chain through my foot. So I had to kind of reposition my foot on the peg. And that, that went away after a lap
I do
and a
that
half.
from time to time where you've got like streak marks on your swing arm from your boot, your heel. Yeah.
And so the bike is very, very narrow at the back, extremely narrow at the back. So there was one time that I was going through the rollers that I was squeezing the bike with my legs, and I came from like a wheelie and slapped into the next one, and my feet between the wheelie, because I squeezed so hard with the bottom of my feet came backwards a little bit, and I almost missed the foot pegs. And that was simply just off of feeling a new motorcycle and not having it, and now it's a different bike because there's no subframe. That's the thing, is there is no subframe. It's just that single piece that comes up, which is, like how you talked about, where you can reach through the bike and you could wrap the seatbelt over for your legs. Well, that piece is very narrow, and so you can't squeeze that part with your legs. So that was kind of a new, I had to get used to that deal. I was thinking though, whenever I rode, I was like, dude, if I didn't get my feet back on the pegs, because it's a fourth gear wide open type area, going woo, woo, rolling through. If I would have missed that, dude, it would have been bad if my feet came off. Because it would have spat me over the front of the bike.
I was just thinking, you were announcing, how you announce. Like Supercross, it's hard to hear in the arena, the announcing, because the bikes are so loud. Now imagine announcing a Supercross where everybody can hear everything you're saying.
Okay, so that's, all right. A lot of people are saying that would be lame. Like half of the reason that it's awesome is because of the sound. Motocross racing does not need to depend on the sound of the motorcycles. I promise you.
Proof being, it went from super cool with 2 strokes at the stadium and the smell and sound of 2 strokes. When they went to 4 strokes, like, to me, it lost a lot, but it still is really rad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dude.
The sound didn't kill the sport for me.
The sound of a Yamaha 250F pinned through whoop section. I don't know what it is about those bikes. I love the way that
the air intake that you hear over the motor.
You can hear the whole of the air coming through. It's
Here comes the whoops.
The whole. The Alta is not going to ruin professional motorcycle racing because of the sound. People think that it will, but now it's like whenever you can't hear the players colliding in football, yet it's still awesome. You can hear, like in hockey, you can hear the puck and the slashing. Now imagine there being motors in that situation. You're going to be able to hear a lot of new sounds. It's like in Supercross, whenever the guys going through the
screaming.
Yeah, absolutely. No, dude. Okay, here's the thing. There was I was passing Craig Royce and Chris Kirk. I came up behind them. I'm screaming at them, yelling, so they know that I'm there because they couldn't hear me. But now I'm imagining like the shit talking and the yelling that's going to happen. It's going to become an offensive tool to pass people the same way it is already. But now it's going to be audible because like if Scott and I are battling out on the track and I go to pass him on the other side of the track and I'm yelling, you can't hear it. Yeah. But if there's no sound, you're going to be able to hear those yells. Yeah. So you're going to hear a lot of motocross racers screaming at each other out on the track.
Speaking of talking shit, in the first 450 moto at Unadilla, did you see Webb and Barsha crashing into each other? Was that second moto? Did you watch it?
It would have been second.
Maybe second moto. I don't know. Anyways, they were like basically running each other wide in the turns, and Barsha flipped Webb off, and I can't remember what moto it was in now. But yeah,
I wonder if that's Barsha crashed in the first moto.
Imagine if they were on Altas.
Yeah, you could hear everything, but they were running each other wide and giving each other the bird, that kind of thing. It was. Yeah. Anyways, sorry.
I never thought about that though. Like Supercross.
Yeah.
Marvin comes inside on Tomac.
Get the fuck out of the way. Yeah.
I'm coming through. Look out now.
What is that?
That was like my Marvin.
That's terrible. That was my Marvin accent. Yeah,
don't. You don't know what he sounds like though. He might sound like that when he yells. Because you don't know.
I usually make a bunch of weird noises. So.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Like when somebody comes up short on the triple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like in video games.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. Are you getting restless?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh no.
Okay. There's going to be motocross is going to evolve a lot when the electric bikes take over, which I'm going to say 5 to 10 years.
I was actually going to ask you that.
Yeah.
Did you see that Davey Coombs borrowed one and has been racing one?
Yeah.
In the woods too, right?
I don't know. I just saw it at High Point, but I feel like by him doing that, I feel like that's
The golden seal of approval.
yeah. That was.
I don't think it's going to take over.
It will.
I don't think
Absolutely.
Now, do you think?
Because everybody else has to make one.
And they will.
I don't know,
I feel
man.
like they're already working on it.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they've got them. They've already got them. Everybody's already got them. KTM's already got them. That's not that. I'm not worried about them having it. They probably have already had it for the last 5 years. But what I'm saying is, a lot of your other manufacturers are going to put there's a lot of politics on the back end side of a lot of this stuff. Just like what kid gets a ride over the other kid, you know what I mean? That kind of deal. There's a lot of that's going to go on before those bikes take over, and maybe 10 years from now.
Yeah.
But I don't see it in 5 years by any means, and I don't see it taking over. I seeing it being an addition to it, because think of your FMFs, your Pro Circuit. What are they going to do? Go into battery modification? I think
They're gonna
those.
have to, I mean, that's not the manufacturer's problem.
Yeah, I know, but I just don't think. I think there's a lot of that back end stuff that's going to keep that from being a thing.
I don't think that it will. I don't because Alta doesn't need FMF. Alta doesn't need ride engineering. You know what I'm saying? Or well, not ride. That's a bad example.
Pro Circuit.
Pro Circuit, whatever. A motor modification company. Because the same thing with. Think of it this way. T-Mobile doesn't need Southwestern Bell.
Yes, they do.
How?
They need their network. You're talking to the Southwestern Bell guy's kid right now.
Okay. Explain that to me.
Okay, so AT&T
Right.
pretty much owns every network that there is, owns the grid.
Okay.
You want to put it that way? Mm-hmm. Then T-Mobile, Sprint, whatever, Cricket.
Okay, here. Okay.
They operate onto their systems.
I used a bad example. T-Mobile doesn't need Lucent Technologies. Lucent Technologies was, for the longest time, the number one manufacturer in telephones.
Right, correct.
Okay. T-Mobile didn't need Radio Shack. Look at Radio Shack. Radio Shack was the aftermarket supplier of technology stuff.
Right.
Well, what happened? Who replaced Radio Shack? Amazon. Okay, there's always another. Radio Shack replaced the mom and pop electronics store. Okay, there's always advancement. There's always the next company to come along. That's like app developers now. Instead of your Microsofts, now you have these smaller app development companies. Okay, so there's going to be a technological change. Now, in order for Pro Circuit to, if they want to stay in business, and we're talking electronic or electric dirt bikes, what they're going to have to start doing is selling, not ignition curves, but
mapping.
maps. Yeah, you're going to have to start selling mapping tools if they want to stay in business. Mike, you can probably help with this because of electric racing and.
Well, I was going to say, I'm assuming if it's like a brushless motor, like from an RC car, guys like FMF would get into different brushless motors.
Yeah.
So see,
that bolt onto the battery type of deal?
No, you would replace the brushless motor that's in it with basically like a mod motor.
Gotcha.
But there'd be different specifics like Dungy, for if you run a 10-minute race and you only need a motor that can go for 10 minutes before it overheats, but you want 600 cc's worth of power, like somebody's going to make that.
See, that's where it's hard to make an analogy because,
I mean, that makes sense to me. That absolutely.
Here's
makes sense.
where for the electric thing, the thing that I see the issues being, okay, so we got 125s, 250s, 450s, that kind of thing. So for electric, in like RC cars, you go by like KV rating of what a motor is. And like, so this class, like a modified class, you can run anything in it. Like you can run a slow motor, a fast motor. For like a stock class, you have to run a certain KV or slower, So I feel like for the electric racing, there would have to be that kind of thing. Like
I already thought of this. I was thinking about this on the way home yesterday. I was like, let's say like KTM, Alta, Husky, Yamaha, they all come out with electric bikes, okay? And they're massive. kV, kilovolts?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so they're massive electrical output bikes. And we have two classes in professional motocross racing. How do you regulate to where you retain the two-class structure? All right, you got to have slower bikes and faster bikes. Well, it's kind of lame if everybody's only riding, maximum output map 4 type bikes. What if AMA, this is where like the software development comes in. FMF could come in and say, hey, we've developed this code that will be the output spec for map 3 class. Okay, so then the AMA goes to them and says, here's an encrypted key code. The bike has to pass through tech inspection and plugs into a computer, the AMA's computer, and the AMA encrypts the bike to run off of this map without being able to be changed for 48 hours. And then they can adjust the map and switch it around. Okay, so then that solves the problem of cheating. So then if the AMA, think of it as like a Bitcoin. It's an encrypted code that can't be traced or can't be changed for a certain amount of time. The AMA plugs their computer in. I'm essentially just repeating myself so people understand what I'm saying. They plug the computer in. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, you're racing the 250 class or the map 1 class or the map 3 class. The bike is locked into map 1 for the next 48 hours. Then Team Geico can't take the bike back to the rig and undo it. It's locked into that map code. And then while out on the track, Christian Craig can't thumb through the maps and run map 4 off of the start. And then whenever they pass through tech inspection on their way out, switch it back to map 2.
I still don't see it taking over by any means. I still see it being an addition, kind of like a 125 race addition. I think it will be an additional class added because right now all you have is the Alta.
Yeah.
And 10 years from now, it's gonna take you 10 years to get an Alta 65.
Let's do.
You know what I mean? And to be able to develop that.
I understand what you're saying. Let's rewind to 1997. Doug Henry shows up on the first YZ450. Did anybody say, this bike is going to take over all of off-road motorcycling?
No, but what I'm saying is, no, and it
did.
To an extent, but it was still a motorized motorcycle.
Okay, but you're talking about an entirely different motor type. We went from 2-strokes. Everything was perfectly fine with 2-strokes.
Right.
And then Yamaha came along and said, hey, we figured out a way to make an advanced 4-stroke. And then it took over. I mean, it's still 2-wheeled. It's still motocross. It's still racing. It's still an internal combustion engine.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Exactly.
Okay, but it changed. Everything changed whenever Yamaha brought the 400 in. The same thing is going to happen as technology advances, Scott, and battery pack technology advances. It's going to get to the point to where the electric motorcycle will take things, it will actually take things back in time, make things more affordable, because now we're talking about technology. That's the hard part. We're talking.
Yeah, it's a bigger picture.
How much did the first iPhone cost at the time? $1,000, something like that?
I have absolutely no idea. Sure, we'll go with that.
Better yet, let's roll back in time to the first Motorola. Okay.
A brick you could throw down the street and still worked?
You're talking $12,000 for a cell phone. I can go down to the gas station across the road and buy a more capable cell phone today for $35. The technology advances. It leaves the old technology behind. What the Alta and the computerized systems and the electronics and the software will leave internal combustion engines behind. The same way that the Prius, the Volt, the Tesla, those cars have done, they're leaving internal combustion engines behind. Electricity, battery powered, is the future, whether you like it or not.
Well, no, I
yeah.
agree with you. I mean, that's with anything. Just like, I mean, in the construction world, tons of companies right now are building batteries. I mean, Tesla is building battery storage facilities for wind power storage, that kind of shit. Yeah. But I mean, okay, is Formula One, they have had electric cars a lot longer than we've had the Alta, and Formula One is still... They might have an electric class. I don't know anything about Formula One. I'm just, or NASCAR.
That's a terrible example because you can't buy a Formula One car. You can't ride a Formula One car out of your garage. We're talking about consumer market, market commodity, where I can go to the Alta dealership and buy an Alta. What I can't do is I can't go and buy a Formula One car strapped with an electric back.
Yeah, but I'm talking professional racing.
Okay.
And at the professional, so that would be comparing it to MXGP.
Now here's what. Okay, NASCAR. All right. What is the Ford? The Fusion?
Sure.
The Toyotas,
we'll
the Camry,
the Mustang, the Fusion.
Right.
Whatever.
Exactly. They don't represent. They don't look anything. They're not racing Camrys.
Right. Correct.
Okay, but it still has the Camry badge on the front of the car. Okay, so you go to Hendricks and you want to buy a Toyota, and you're a NASCAR fan. You're going to buy the Camry or the Corolla because that's what Jimmy Johnson drives, or what, I don't care. I don't know who drives what. Whatever is sold to mass market is what professional racing will become. Yes, Formula One is its own thing. Okay? Now, if I'm going to be, how do I say this? If the mass parts of motorcycling switches to electric and people are buying electric bikes hand over fist, the manufacturers are going to have to comply. If more people want electric motorcycles, the manufacturers are going to jump on board. And then what happens whenever they stop R&D on ICE engines?
No, I totally agree with you, and I think they're gonna. The thing is for it to happen in the next 10 years. There's not enough advancement right now for that to happen in 10 years. I think the advancement would have to be further along. Does that make sense?
Okay, I may be trailing off, but here's my question. Okay, so 10 years, what do we do with all of the bikes that are still internal combustion bikes? Like, let's say all of pro racing did go all electric.
Yeah.
Do you still have, would it be like the 125 Dream Race now?
Sure. Or FMF, Pro Circuit, Torque One, they develop conversion kits.
Oh.
Yeah. How many battery manufacturers are there in RC car racing?
Hundreds, thousands,
okay.
Probably.
So
But it's funny you say that because the very first... Okay, so one of the most popular... I'm not going to say most popular, or depending on your region, but is electric 8-scale buggy. Okay, well, nitro 8-scale buggy, internal combustion engines have been around since the 80s. Okay. Well, this electric thing has really taken off in the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
But it started with one company making conversion kits for all of the nitro cars, existing nitro cars. All they made was, well, now this company, that's where it agrees with your point. This is where it's going to agree with Scott's point. That company now, they don't make conversion kits anymore. They have their own electric car.
Yeah.
But they also have a nitro car.
Okay.
But you're comparing apples to oranges a little bit because in RC racing, it's different in the sense that if you run, Jared Tebow could run nitro buggy, electric buggy, nitro truck, and electric truck all in the same day.
Right.
Whereas in professional motocross,
you run more.
Barsha can't ride 450, 250, and electric bike.
Right.
So,
and maybe it'll get to the point to where electric racing gets its own series. Okay, but then what happens whenever it gets bigger, participation wise? Okay, whenever, let's say the incentive is there, so then your Brandon Scherers, Enzo Lopez, Austin Root, Jeremy Hand, those guys are
your arena cross guys that don't have an arena cross series.
Stephen Mages, Jace Owens. Whenever those guys are being incentivized to go race electronic bikes or electric bikes, okay, and then you start to have payouts. Okay. So then now somebody that's a green company jumps on board and says, hey, this is a really cool thing to get in early. So then you've got, trying to think of a company that's
Just a power company, anything like that.
Cromwell Solar. There you go. They're a solar manufacturer or installation company in Lawrence. Cromwell Solar jumps on as the title sponsor of the Electric Motocross Racing Association, the new EMA. Okay, so the EMA.
Look at this. He's already president of the EMA.
Yeah.
Jeff Crutcher.
So then that's going to happen eventually because somebody's going to have to be the governing body, and if the American Motorcyclist Association doesn't jump on board, someone, the same way that there's new leagues or sports groups or whatever, someone is going to do it, and you need either adapt and control or get left in the dust as the app developers type mentality comes along. Someone new is going to see, hey, someone that's an entrepreneur is going to say, there is a market for this. There's no one there yet. So they're going to come in and fill the void. Now, there's a lot of room to grow here. And it's going to be really hard for us to sit here and say, this is what's going to happen. Because, who would have guessed that we'd be able to do an Over the Bars podcast 5 years ago? That we'd have our cell phones that are so capable of doing what they're doing. We're talking about technology, guys. That's the hard part to wrap our head. And I can't even predict it. Who the hell knows what it is that's going to happen? Do I think that it will replace petrol-based racing? Yes, I do. I think that will become the sideshow. The Western four-stroke national series that there was 20 years ago before four strokes, vintage racing, because that shit's always going to be around. Our internal combustion engine's always going to be around. Yes. But the truth of the matter is, electric, because it's technology, is going to replace the internal combustion engine. Part of that being our culture's desire to go green. Now, what we're going to have to figure out, Alta or and see, here's room. There's room for improvement. All right. Alta has said, here's the chassis, here's the battery, here's, what we offer. Now, FMF, or what's a battery manufacturer in RC car racing?
Trinity
comes in and says, hey, we've developed a water-cooled battery pack that weighs 35 pounds less, has more output, and we developed a quick charge system. It plugs into the Alta. All you have to do is undo the cradle, swap in our battery. It's a better battery. Hooks into the Alta bulkhead. Full conversion. All you have to do is plug it in for the low price of $4,500. And we include the charging kit that has a solar panel on top of it, so you don't even have to bring a generator to the track anymore. There's no further investment. The Alta, the $800 battery charging conversion thing that you have to buy from Alta to charge the Alta, no, that's all included in our kit. You see what I'm saying? There's room for technology improvement here.
Do you think sometimes he just likes to hear himself talk?
I'm not a
salesman, but you might be onto something.
But that's
I agree with. I
have a dumb question.
Yeah.
I have a dumb question. Okay. Well, two things. You're talking about the vintage stuff. When my dad started racing vintage back in '97 or whatever, you couldn't have a newer bike than like 1980. Talking about how vintage will always be around.
Yeah.
You can now ride up to a 1997. To me, that's not vintage. Like, it is, but I don't think of that as like, wow, vintage.
So it's like a 21
yes.
year.
But you can ride a 1997 aluminum frame Honda in the latest vintage class. That's crazy to think about, but you're talking about the vintage always be around. Now, my next thing is Alta, or is there an electric bike like an Alta available in Europe yet?
Yeah, you can buy the Alta in Europe.
Okay, I didn't know, because I feel like when it takes off in Europe, that's when we'll see it take off here.
Yeah, absolutely. And KTM stands to gain the most out of that because of they're there in Austria. Husky, the Italian company, or a Swedish company, they're there. All they have to do is develop a bike that is better. Are they going to put Alta out of business? No. No, Alta is here to stay. They've got their deal with Harley Davidson and the government defense contract. Okay. Alta has manufactured their niche in the market, and what they're going to do is they're going to create their own market of riding and racing and leisure on the bikes. They've already, this company that has developed out of nothing, nobody, we're talking about nobodies that had nothing. 5 years ago, there was no talk of an electric motorcycle, a zero, but it was a joke. Okay, so Alta came in, they created their own market. Now, everybody's looking at Yamaha, Suzuki, Kawasaki, KTM, Husky, TM, name a Beta, Sherco, Gas. Everybody's
He just hit them all, didn't he?
Yeah. Everybody's looking at them and saying, what's your next move? That's me. I'm waiting. I'm waiting on KTM to release because they have.
They've all got one somewhere.
They've got one, right?
Right.
Now, you line that KTM up against the Alta, the KTM's going to look like a fucking foolish bike. It cannot handle a motocross track the way the Alta can. It is a racing-specific bike, but they also built it with a chassis to where you can throw supermoto tires on it. You can throw blinkers on it, and it's street legal.
Right. I mean, I definitely think it's definitely the wave of the future. I totally agree with that. And what I'm talking is more so the time frame of what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. I think 10 years for it to take over and replace the 450 Supercross class, I don't see that. But I see it being an addition to it in the next 10 years. And then go on from there as the products and the shit becomes available as the market develops. Right now, the market is in its infancy. It's the smartphone. Yeah. We're in the beginning of we're in the BlackBerry stage of the smartphone.
Right. Yeah, pre-iPhone.
Yeah, pre-iPhone.
Monster Energy Cup.
Yeah. How long did it take for the iPhone to replace the BlackBerry? See, that's the hard part. That's what's so hard about this is understanding we're not just talking about motocross anymore. We're talking about electronic technology.
And there will always be, though. There's people out there right now that are still running their business off of BlackBerry. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
I mean,
government still runs off of BlackBerries.
Yeah.
But
release the emails.
No, they're deleted already.
Will you buy one?
An electric dirt bike?
Yeah.
That's probably going to be my next dirt bike. If I can make the 17250SX that I'm on now last another season next year, which it should be able to because I only put 30 hours on a bike in a season.
Buy an Alta. Or a KTM.
What will it be?
I'm hoping that the KTM comes out within the next 10 calendar months and says, we're in development.
Yeah.
That's all that I want. I don't want there to be a KTM right away. I want them to say, we're in development.
You know, how come we haven't heard that out of anybody yet? Do you think they're just not feeling the pressure yet? The sales are still too good?
I think what it is that KTM is so concerned about figuring out direct injection for, EFI for two strokes. That's where they're at right now. Now, do I think the same way, KTM, they developed aluminum frames. I don't know if you know this. But KTM had aluminum frames for their bikes whenever they were figuring out what's better. Whenever all the Japanese went to aluminum because it's cheaper than the chromoly frame, the high price frame that they have. They said, can we do this and retain what we want out of the motorcycle? And then they realized, no, we can't get what we want out of the motorcycle because the aluminum is not as good of a product. So I think that they're developing. I mean, there's no way they're not. They already have one. Yamaha. There's no way that Yamaha, who has keyboards.
Right. I was just going to say Honda has a jet and a robot and
exactly
can send satellites to the moon and shit like that.
They all have it. Kawasaki Heavy Industries, if you're going to tell me that they don't have high battery powered machinery,
right?
They've all got it.
Don't they have electric trains? Maybe that's not Kawasaki.
Somebody does.
Yeah.
I mean, it's there. The technology's there.
I tell you,
the 2020 250F is already built and sitting in a box somewhere.
Yeah.
They already have it designed.
Yeah.
The 2022 bike is they already know what they're going to release and what's going to be out there.
I think the next ones to get into it will be BRP, Bombardier.
Bring back the Cannondale, the whatever their 400 was or whatever it was from 1997.
But that's BRP's thing, is innovation. All right? They invented the side-by-side. They revolutionized the personal watercraft. They changed. All right, they tried the deal with Cannondale. Cannondale was its own thing. The Can-Am, okay? They have taken things that were either dead or underdeveloped and made an entire market of it. The slingshot, like the snowmobile with the with the car tires on the front of it.
Yeah, the Spider, whatever.
The Spider, yeah. Thank you. All right.
This podcast brought to you by K&M BRP.
Yeah.
Or Alta.
And then I don't know if you know this, but they also have trains, and they have the Learjet. The Learjet is owned by BRP. Okay, Bombardier. BRP is Bombardier Recreational Products.
They also make mountain bikes.
They make it all. Why they wouldn't do that, I don't know. And it wouldn't surprise me if Bombardier will cross, say, instead of saying, hey, we're going to develop the bike and the battery, why they wouldn't go to a battery manufacturer and say, here's what we want. Mm-hmm. Figure it out. Here's a $500,000, contract to just figure it out. Or, obviously it's going to be more than that. And then they will. And they'll go the same exact way that they do with like Boeing. That the government goes to Boeing. That the government goes through Grumman. That they go to name a contractor. Okay, they say, here's what we want. Here's what we're going to give you. Figure it out. Okay. Then a year and a half later, they come back. They have a convention, and Boeing says, "Oh, we're going to be able to make this plane for X amount." Okay. Now that's a much larger scale. But whenever a manufacturer, BRP, goes to Tesla, goes to Trinity, goes to XYZ battery company, and says, "Here's the specs of what we need. We're not a battery company. You motherfuckers figure it out." Well, then the competitor or the contractor that develops it lowest price with the best performance is going to win. Okay. So then you get into a manufacturing war. Okay. And we talk about trade war with Trump. Well, now what we're talking about is free market, and capitalism and development coming into play to where
this picture just got so big.
Talk about semis catching on fire in the parking lot of the pits because of LiPo batteries that simply power the electric starters on bikes. Can you imagine the fire insurance that we're going to have to take out for all these pro teams?
All the battery.
Yeah.
I think the professional racing may be much, much different than it is now. It may not be as attractive, as it is now. Who knows? There's no way to tell.
Only time will tell.
Yeah, but I'm on board. I'm on board with the Alta, and I've been on board. I've fucking talked about it on our podcast 1,000,000 times.
100 million times. So we've got so far off track from where this came up. What do you want to do with the Alta, Mike? That's where we started this.
Yeah.
And we ended up in global domination of battery-powered motorcycles.
I just want to ride one.
Heil Alta.
And that's it?
Yeah, but I mean, like...
It will work for him.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so my understanding when I talk to some of the guys at Alta is you can get from Alta a hand rear brake. There's no shifting. There's no starting. There's none of that contraption.
Right.
So all I would need is the hand rear brake, a seat built, and a little cage around my legs.
Right.
Good to go.
Yeah. What are you waiting for?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Is it a hydraulic rear brake? Like, does it have a master cylinder the way the front brake does?
Jeff is asking, while taking a pee, if it has a hydraulic rear brake. I don't know.
I would imagine. You're the one who rode one, Jeff. It would have to have a hydraulic. It's a newer style motorcycle.
It's got drum brakes.
Yeah,
it's like an XR70.
Brake you saw? Yeah.
Yeah.
It would just be a handbrake system. So So you want to ride one? You want to build one to ride for you?
Yeah.
But what you want to do to prove the impossible? You want to put this in your story? What do you want to do with it?
Well, my idea was basically like, okay, so you go to. I'm using like high school as an example. Okay, so you send me to a high school, and it's like, what am I going to talk about? I'm a guy in a wheelchair. Cool story, bro. But if you're like, hey, look at this guy. You can have those Skittles. You can have them. But if I could take this Alta with me, And I don't even have to ride it there, but like they can be up close and personal with it. A, I'm sharing motocross.
Right.
B, they're like, oh, wow, this is really cool. And I can be like, yeah, hey, you could get one and you could ride it in your backyard, even if you live in the neighborhood. And C, like, Alta, in my opinion, is they're proving the impossible.
Adapt and overcome.
Yes. They're wow, look at you, salesman. They have adapted and overcome. So they're proving the impossible in the sense of what they're doing. So at the same time, they're also allowing me to ride motocross again. And at the same time, allowing me to share my story.
Why haven't you pitched this to Alta yet? Why don't you have an Alta sitting in the shop?
You need an agent.
You need an agent.
Kumbaya.
That's what what are you waiting for?
Yeah, I should work on that. Okay.
Well, I really like that we found Mike's path here.
Yeah.
We did.
I'm chewing Skittles, so I'm trying not to talk right now.
Huh.
Mike, if you can't see Mike right now, he almost looks like the light bulb came on, but he's like turned the dimmer down for a second.
Yeah,
he's
it's like really blinding. It's kind of causing a slight headache.
Dude, his gears are spinning a million miles an
Yeah,
hour
but
right
that's
now.
the problem is they're spinning, and like I'm missing a tooth or two, so it's like they're skipping. It's like
you're revving your brushless motor in the air right now,
exactly.
and everything's
It's
just
like,
free spinning.
Yeah.
I can't wait for everybody to ride that bike.
Someone just got in your truck.
Awesome.
No, they didn't.
I think that's your wife.
Uh-oh.
Is she really here?
Yeah, no,
We're in trouble, boys.
There she is.
There she is.
She's been swimming today.
Hey, welcome to the show.
Come on in.
Y'all just washing James in the car.
No, that's actually had no idea that's what was happening. I just heard the door shut.
So, anyway, I'm on board with it. The bike handled phenomenally. It really did.
And it was fun.
Yeah.
Like scale of 1 to 10 of fun.
12. Cool. Seriously. No, it was more fun to ride. Obviously, it's a new technology. It's something new. It's something different. It was more fun to ride than my 250 SX. So, all right, and scale of fun, bottom of the list, 450s. Just above, okay. Just above that are 250Fs, okay? And then above that, two strokes in general, 125 or 250 doesn't matter. And then above that is the Alta at the top of the list. If the Alta was the only thing, or electric bike was the only thing that I rode, would it be, it's if you only rode electric dirt bikes and then somebody handed you a KTM 250 SX for the first time, you're like, holy shit, this is scary. Scary fast, And
I do that anyways when someone hands me a 252 stroke.
Yeah, but it would be kind of a novelty and it'd be fun to ride. Well, the same thing now as the Alta is right now.
It's like when you get to borrow a buddy's modded out 125
Yeah.
and you get to go play around for a couple motos and that's
Now
it.
here's the thing. Whenever I have my house in Lawrence and I can build a dirt bike track in the backyard, think Langtown pit bike race in California, how they used to do that.
I saw a picture somewhere of it was like a background picture of like an old Racer X paper magazine.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody posted, maybe it was posted on Instagram or something, of a guy riding like an old CRF 100
Yep.
in like a CR80 frame or something.
Yeah, that would have been
That was
Langtown.
just like 2 days ago.
I
saw
forgot
that.
about Langtown.
Yeah. All right, so now let's take Langtown, garden hoses, rakes, prepping up the backyard, that kind of stuff. Now we're doing it on full-size electric dirt bikes, and you're wearing jeans, and everybody's riding in MAP 1, okay?
What are Courtney and Eric building in the backyard, by the way?
A pump track for
Okay.
BMX.
All
Yeah.
right.
Speaking, okay, now I want to full circle this bitch. Friday night, I went and raced BMX for the first time in 10 years.
That was my other hot topic that I couldn't think of.
Okay.
So now we're at like a cold topic.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun. I also, I won, but, we won't go there.
How many people were in your class?
4.
Okay. No, I'm
Yeah,
good. I was
Not one.
I was waiting for you to say
Yeah,
one.
no.
Yeah.
Did you ride with grown adults or children?
No, there were people my age. It was all guys straight out of the novice class.
Okay.
Yeah, 29 to 37 novice is what it was. Anyway.
It's a weird age range.
It just is what it is.
Yeah.
So check this
BMX.
out, though. Never, obviously, whenever I was riding, was I like, man, this is weird. There's no noise. You don't even think about it, okay? There's music playing. That's something else. You know, at arena cross races, how they have DJ KO. That guy?
Yeah.
All right, he hypes up the show. Same thing. Now, instead of it being just, you know, dirt bikes revving up on the line, now we're going to be able to have, you know, pump up music and that kind of shit playing, you know, right whenever the gate's about to drop.
Walkout music all the time.
If this starts playing, if I was on the line, if I was Eli Tomac, I'm on the line with my electric bike, and this song starts playing, I would simply step off my electric bike, walk back down the tunnel, and just say, I'm getting a day job. I'm done.
The circus is in town, and you're done.
Can you hear us?
Yeah.
All right, so let me go to the, let me pull up the instrumental version of
Maybe
this.
they could ride with pom-poms, too. That'd be cool.
Okay.
I can't believe how fast he found
Ladies
this
and gentlemen, on the number 308 Alta, it's Scott Gebkin. Ah! Go, Mike, go. No, be an announcer. Be an announcer.
Do your thing,
His
Mike.
battery's dead.
You're a motherfucker, you know that?
Okay, we got it. Turn this shit
Sorry.
off. We got
I
it. Okay.
think you just killed electric racing for the next 20 years.
My point is...
It becomes more of a show then. We're talking Cirque du Soleil dirt biking.
Hell yeah, dude.
So now tickets are no longer $10 action in your face. We'll sell you the whole seat, but you only need
now
the
have
edge.
like flaming hoops.
Dude.
Now we're talking $200 tickets, and you got to go to Vegas to watch it.
Now,
Neon underglow on the
Supercross tickets
bikes.
are already like $80 for the cheap seats.
Probably.
Yeah, it's an expensive thing to get into. At all. My point is...
Electric dirt bikes are fucking cool.
Dude.
They were a lot of fun to ride. Mike is late to the board to hook up with Alta to have his own program here.
We've got Alta, Agents, Arm Anatomy. We've talked about
Puerto
a lot.
Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
All of it Jeff likes.
Yeah. I'm on board with all of it.
All of it. Because it's two wheels, and two wheels are badass.
Dude, it's just so much fun railing around a track. I mean, it's like, have you ever done, do you like mountain biking?
He's still going.
Except for when I crash them, which I do more than anything on a mountain bike.
True.
Yeah.
But it's comparable to mountain biking. It's just pure fun. There's something about it where you're just going. I felt in 5 laps on the electric bike. I felt more connected to the riding than I did ever before.
Yeah, he's still going, Mike. He's still going.
Okay, Jeff, we'll buy one.
Well, yeah, we're fine. We'll go. You know what, Alta, if you're listening, donate one to the OTB show, and you will get more.
We need an agent, and we need him to get Derek Dornstein on the phone, and we're going to get this goddamn Alta.
OTB Alta, let's do it. I'm on board. I'll call him right now. I don't need an agent. We'll do
We
it.
just need one so Jeff can just stop talking about it and go ride it in the front yard.
And then we can ride it whenever.
Yeah, well, he's always going to be right. He's never going to stop.
Yeah, he's not.
Until the battery dies.
No, you'll probably have some kind of. You have a
See,
battery
what
pack
about
in your
that
backpack.
part though? Like, how you can just pour gas in your dirt bike and keep going.
I know that, and I will openly say that is the number one downfall is the charging time.
Do they still have an overheating issue?
Right. There was never an overheating issue. All right. So here's the thing about, and the same thing happens with computers. It's called overclocking, where it gets to a certain point to where it gets too hot. Okay. So then the battery
That's overheating.
has.
Right.
Right. Yeah, I know. No, listen. I swear to God, if you motherfuckers interrupt me again while I'm on my rant.
Okay, I'm stepping away from the microphone.
Thank you.
Go.
No. Okay, so here's the thing about that. It has its own safety system built in. Once it gets to a certain degree point, it doesn't allow the bike to go that fast. All right. So then it actually tunes down, it protects itself, and it tunes down the output until the engine pack cools off, whether that's through not riding or just leveling off and only allowing you so many kV output.
So it's like an Excite bike.
Yes, where the bike gets too hot and you have to pull off and set for a
but like
moment.
you can still ride. It's just very slow.
Yeah, same thing. So
Okay.
I mean, it was never an
Quick change
overheating
batteries.
issue.
Somebody will come out with a quick change battery to where literally you come off the track, like you could buy an extra battery, be charging it, and you can put a new battery in a matter of minutes.
Or what about this? What about having 2 battery packs that cycle?
Or that, yeah. Something along those lines.
Yeah, somebody will get to the point to where you can pull the Alta battery out. And I mean, because listen, they're like Alta is like the iPhone. Okay, they've developed the hardware. Everybody else can develop the software. They give you the open platform. You build the app. You build the performance part, whatever. You bring it in. If somebody can outbuild the Alta motor, why would Alta continue to build their own batteries?
I also think you'll see a shrinkage in battery. I think that bike will get considerably lighter and.
But although it's like 230 some odd pounds, which it's around the same as RMZ 450, which I love the way that bike handles, the 450, the Suzuki. The mass of the weight is so far to the ground that you don't notice it. It feels truly flickable.
That's actually what the Alta salesman guy at Hangtown told me.
Yeah,
but I wasn't sure if that was a sales pitch.
No, and I'm not here to sell Altas. I stand no gain.
You're just trying to get Alta to give you one.
It would be nice.
Yeah.
But the thing, I'd have to buy a generator.
Oh, shucks.
That's a whole lot cheaper than an Alta.
You're right, it is.
Yeah, that's worth it. I've got one. You get the Alta, I'll bring the generator, and we're in business. Now, can you get passenger pegs for it?
Yes.
And blinkers.
And a horn.
And a horn.
Yeah.
Speedometer?
Yeah.
I think it has one, doesn't
There
it?
you go, FMF. They can't make pipes for it, so they'll make horn tunes.
Horn tunes.
Yeah, you can have different sounding horns. Yeah.
The headlights.
All right, boys, are we done?
We're done.
Sure.
Over and out.
Thanks to Donnell's, thanks to Bar to Bar MX, thanks to the KMCS, and
Alta,
and Innovative MX Training, and Rip and Ruts, and Live RC.
There you go. I like it.
Why not?
Good work.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye.